episode 70 of the Goodfellas podcast. When you hit the building, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, go over to Boxing First Vlog, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button over there. Also, almost at 100, 100 podcasts. That'll be a good landmark to make. We've only been doing this for we've only had this podcast for about a year, just under a year. So good to see us almost reach 100. How do you feel, blood?
I'm up and I'm about it today, man. I was burnt out yesterday, man. I ain't even go to my night job, so I was tired, bro. So I missed yesterday's podcast, and I seen the bro doing good work though. You know what I'm saying? So we here to follow up on that good work the guru be doing. So tap in
What,
with us.
what do you mean the good? What good work do you mean? What do you mean?
He did the live yesterday by himself, fool.
Nah, he went by himself. I jumped in, bro. I was just late.
Oh, okay. I thought he was on by himself when I first saw the shit, but I
Nah,
felt
yeah, nah, I was late. I was late, but yeah, he held it down. But that's how it goes, man.
yeah, you know how it go, man. We all in different regions, so it's hard to really link up regularly. But we've been consistent because we've been a solid team from like day one. So you feel
Literally,
me?
bro. One
Yeah,
hand can't clap. That's why. That's a saying. One hand can't clap, bro. So need.
fact. So yeah, man. But it's a lot to talk about, though, bro. I mean, shit. I've been just scrolling and reading information, and goddamn, WBA got a lightweight title eliminator going down in Panama. So you know what I mean. It's just some good boxing news. That's not, I guess you would say, like mainstream boxing news. So you know
I
what I
mean,
mean.
there has been a bit of mainstream news. I don't know if you saw the news about Charlo Castano,
I'm with him saying that he don't believe the injury.
and he insinuating drug testing and him not wanting to take a VAR testing and cycling off and stuff like that.
I mean, you know how this game is, baby. I'm just saying. So, I can't say that he shouldn't worry about that, bro. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? So that's something any man with putting his physical health on the line should question about his opponent. You feel me?
Facts, facts.
But not to cut you off, I just don't think it's something for him to worry about because if you look at it, he's the better boxer. So if he was worried about that, you still hurt him and you're clean. You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, just do that again and do it earlier. That way, if it happens later, it's more effective. You know what I mean? He didn't consistently hurt him throughout the fight. So when he did, he didn't really get on the gas and stomp him up out of there. So I think he's going to do that this time. He got a lot of fire up under him. You know what I mean? People bringing his name up. Fighters not in the division. So, you know what I mean? Big shout out to little Charlo, so to speak.
I mean, I think he has to be relatively careful because whilst I don't know if Castano's being VAR tested. I don't know. Apparently, there's VAR testing for this fight, but you know, he has to be careful in the sense that you can't just outright accuse someone. So and he didn't outright accuse him. Personally, I don't know if Castano's got a legit injury, but we will see. Because in my opinion, someone like Castano, would they benefit from VADA and from taking PDs? God knows, bro. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I think it would as far as strength when that's the type of style he has. He's not like somebody like Valdez where you kind of juicing up his footwork and you juicing up his recovery, things like that. You see what I'm saying? So I think with Castano, it might be more of power. You feel me? Something to help maybe with conditioning. You see what I'm saying? So I mean, I don't know that. Like I said, he just doesn't. He's not a precise boxer. So he's more of a fighter. So if you're going to take something, you're going to take something for stamina and take something for strength. That's just me speculating if I was, somebody in his shoes based
But
on what he does in the ring.
my question is, bro, why wouldn't there have been VAR testing for the first fight?
Interesting. I don't know. Yeah, you think it would with undisputed? Anything undisputed should have VADA testing. I mean, to me,
Absolutely.
in my
I mean,
estimation.
any title fight should have VAR testing.
Yeah, I mean, but you got a lot of second tier, international, intercontinental.
But Charlo's not. Charlo is an elite.
No, I get what you're saying. There's a difference, title fight. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, we talk a world title.
Charlo has a certain level of pulling power. He has a certain attraction. You know, he's got a certain name to him, and you would have thought his fights would have a certain level of prestige to it. You would have thought this fight he would have had the VAR testing for the first fight.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I think it's a lot of pressure on him right now. I think it's a lot of pressure on him. Not only coming from outside the division with the big name that Bud Crawford has, also from what's going on with family. So it's almost like now you big bro. You see what I'm saying? Like how you carrying yourself out in these streets. You know what I mean? Or, people really got their eye on you as a Charlo twin. So I think it's a lot of pressure on him. I don't think it's nothing that he can't handle. But
I mean, he came out and he said a lot of things. He spoke about Terence Crawford. He also spoke about not wanting to fight mandatories, which I in his case, I like because he said, I only want champions. So I get that. I understand. If you want to unify, unification comes first over mandatories, in my opinion. So I like that. So Charlo's coming up talking big, but for everything he says, he's got to back that up in the ring. Toshi's in the building. He says, "What's up, guys? Yes, lots of news. Boxing is in a really good spot right now. I mean, boxing always goes through the ebbs and flows. It's like everything in life. It'll be hot one day and cold one day. Stay ready through the
stay ready.
199 super chat. Shout out to you, bro.
Stay ready. While you in here, chime in on this. I real quick. I know I just read this article. Your boys on the other side, BBC of C. They having an issue, still trying to do some sort of investigation about Undisputed, talking about turning evidence over to the police. That's all fine, well, and dandy. I don't know if that's going to really fix anything because dude talking about leaving the division anyway. So that's neither here nor there. My part of this article that I read that caught my attention was the guy that was speaking. I guess he's some big wig with the PBC or BBC or whatever, or BBB. I ain't, no porn, no cap, no Frank Ocean. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mean to really say BBC like that, but y'all know what I'm saying. Anyway, he said 10-8 rounds if clear winner, or just straight 10-9 rounds. Trying to do something to help or come out with an idea. And I'm thinking to myself, bro, you're a boxing insider. Why would you say something so stupid like that about trying to fix the judging?
Yeah.
Are you being serious? Or are you being facetious?
I don't know if you heard this.
That's not my point. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Point is, I got two easy ideas to fix this shit. It's simple. Pay the fucking judges more. You understand what I'm saying? And sequester the judges. It's that simple. Don't pick the judges 2 and 3 months before the fight. Pick the judges 48 to 72 hours before the fight. Sequester them. It's that simple. Pick a group of young judges.
I also feel like there has to be, just like with certain things in life, you have to go through retraining. You got to go through, if you're an electrician, for example, you can't, you have to go through, you have to I don't know what it is, but you have to reapply or get back your certificate, keep your skills sharp. To me, you got a lot of outdated, old-fashioned judges and referees.
To me, I think it's an age limit. That's what I mean. When you say outdated and old, we talking age, because a lot of judges, they over 50, bro. They over 60 years old.
I'll tell you something even crazy, and this is why I'm glad we brought this up, bro. I've interviewed the head of the Bricks and Boxing British Board of Control. I've interviewed him before, and he told me personally to my face, I wish I still had the interview. He told me that he believes Britain has the best judges and referees. That's what he told me. I've interviewed him. That's what he told me. And when you see fights like that and you hear things like that, you could also look at it and you think, if you're the best, you don't feel like you need to improve. You see my point? If you already feel like you're the best, you don't feel like you need to improve.
Yeah,
and that's the problem.
No, I think you do got to improve when the judges that you have can be, I don't want to use the word bought off. I'll just say swayed. and you don't necessarily have to per se accept love before the fight. These are a lot of benefits that can come around after the fight for these particular judges.
You know what it is, bro? A lot of people try to act retroactively, and they use hindsight to fix problems. You need to use foresight. So the reason why I even brought that question up was because just like me and you, we debate all the time. We see controversial decisions all the time. We're just not at that high level. You know, we saw the situation with Felix Cash 2-3 weeks prior. You see my point? That should have been investigated. If you investigated it from there, maybe you could have prevented the Josh Taylor situation. You see my point? But when you try to act after the fact, you're seeing all of this effort into fixing British boxing referees after the Josh Taylor situation, when that could have happened a year ago, 2 years ago. You see my point? People try to act retroactively instead of using
the dumb ideas that you're coming up with to try to regulate scoring in boxing. Like, that's what I'm saying. You're being facetious when you say something like that. Because my first thought after reading it was, my dude, so where's the knockdown come into play? Like, so how do you score a round? If you say the winner the person you believe to win a round automatically gets a 10-8 round. Okay, so what does he get if he gets a knockdown or if he gets knocked down? Like, that to me, he didn't even think that out because he never thought about fixing it. So when he was questioned on it and commented on it in his interview, he just said what was on the top of his head, actually being smart aleck to me.
I'm gonna get through the comments and I have something to say to that, because Eddie Hearn and a Mexican dude brought something up and I found it very stupid. Canelo even said it, so I found it stupid. Ashley's Corner said, what's up to you, man? I saw you today in 78's live as well. I don't really watch much people's live, but I was bored, so I tuned in. I saw you in the comment section for that, so shout out to you, Ashley. Yeah, British Boxing Border Control. Did you say no Frank Ocean? Yeah, that's what he said. You can fix human judging causes judges different. Judges judge different. Oh yeah, judges judge different. Yeah, definitely.
But like, what's the idea of cleaning it up? Like, when you have something such as undisputed on the line, don't y'all agree? Like, sequestering judges, maybe not picking these judges so early.
I'm gonna get to that in a second. Hi, stay ready. Shout out to they're just saying what's up, Ashley, again. Yeah, staying what's up to each other. So yeah, this is the thing I say. In Russia, I don't know if you guys know this. In Russia, judges wear headphones. They wear earphones, so they can't hear the crowd. I don't know if people know this. They actually wear headphones and earphones so they can't hear the crowd. The crowd can't influence decisions. I feel like in a situation where the fight was in Scotland, in Josh Taylor's hometown, I think that would have been beneficial. I keep bringing this point up. Me and Blunt, we can watch a fight right now, and we can think a punch didn't land, but then we get the highlight of realizing, oh, the punch did land. But the judge, on the other hand, he only gets to see it once. Why do me and Blunt get a better perspective of a fight and we have no influence of the fight, but a judge who has all the influence over the fight can make an honest human mistake? To me, that makes no sense. If we as fans have a chance to see a replay and say, okay, we thought that punch didn't land, but on review it actually did, and it could have been the difference in scoring a round, then why doesn't a judge get that same get that same chance? Because I keep bringing up the Figueroa Fulton fight, a lot of people thought Figueroa won that fight, but when you go and watch the fight back, there was a lot of shots Fulton landed that you can't see because of Figueroa's frame. But when you watch it back on replay, you realize, oh, he actually did land.
Facts. Or how about doing it this way? Have them in the arena, but have them in the back room.
Yeah, that's
sort of, like I said, sort of sequestered areas.
Exactly, bro. I agree with that as well, bro. I've been ringside before, and bro, when you're ringside, let's say you're standing south of the ring. If someone's in the northeast corner where they're literally getting backed up against the corner, you can't see the shots that's being landed. You physically can't, because they're literally on the opposite side of the ring. You can't see, and I just feel like you got a lot of, it just doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't. A crowd could make noise off a shot, and the shot don't even land, bro. We see that all the time.
Facts. I mean, just because their particular guy is throwing, they're going to cheer and kind of make noise. So that could throw judges off all the time. So I agree, man. These things that we talking about, I'm hoping that the powers that be are kind of really listening, because you asked us who has a better idea. I just gave you several of them. Number one, pay the judges more. That way it's less that you have to worry about them being linked on. Any way you want to chop it up, them being paid off, linked on, doing favors, back scratching, however you want to slice that pie. If you pay them more initially for major events, these sort of things are less likely to happen. Again, sequestering is big. Choosing the judges later than earlier.
And I also believe, bro, in certain instances when it comes to a judge selection, I feel like there should always be two neutral judges, as in a judge that's not from the country that either fighter is from. And I also believe, bro, you brought up a good point the other day, which was when fights that are announced, of fighters who announce multi-fight contracts for millions of dollars before a fight, that is also bad for judging, because a judge knows that there's 150 million on the table. You brought this up. I'm just copying what you said. So if there's 150 million on the table, if that fighter loses, that fighter is still going to get the fight, because guess what? There's so much money on the table. I ain't ruining the bag. That's happened with Callum Smith and John Ryder. Callum Smith was scheduled to fight Canelo. They knew Canelo's money was on the table. I ain't messing up this money. Callum Smith, you're gonna win this fight. This is just the case. This is just what happens, bro. It just happens. And we could see the same thing with Bivol and Canelo. Canelo got 163 million or whatever people keep saying on the table right now. They ain't gonna let someone who's worth who ain't worth half of that ruin that bag, bro. You see my point? Like the deal.
I agree.
You brought it up, so
I think it's bad for boxing. And again, with us continuing this conversation, it affects future judges. They're automatically leaning towards the house fighter, the bigger promotional fighter, or whatever sort of scenario you fall in with Canelo. You know what I'm saying? Whether you want to call him a Dazan guy, whatever.
Because everybody eats when Canelo fights, bro. That's where it is, bro. The commission's eating more, the promoters eating more.
It's that too, but they only eating because they willing to surfboard. They willing
you
know what I'm saying, to carry somebody's balls and not let them drag in the sand. Let this dude balls hang where they hang, and be serious about this, bro. This scenario of him pointing out that guys should fight each other. I find that curious, and none of his fans are even questioning him of, if you the guy, go clean the division out. Why is there any question of top guys in 168? Because you ain't cleaned the division out, but I see you got all the belts. I find that very interesting. But his fans aren't kind of bringing that up as just being like, you know what I'm saying, like open-minded themselves. Like, yo, that is interesting though. That he's saying the top guys should fight each other, so he don't have to fight them. Why not line them up and fight them, my dude?
Bro, it is what it is. That's a really good idea, Shane. Yeah, I mean, it works where it works, bro. Shout out to you,
that ain't Shane idea. That's my idea.
Yeah.
Man, you better give me my credit while I saying, man, I'm about to get on this bus and come to Philly. Come talk to you. No, I'm just fucking with you, Playboy. I'm just fucking with you.
Mr. De Niro, salute everybody. Shout out to you, bro. Thanks for jumping in. Hit the like button and the subscribe button. Pay dirty judges more? ? Yeah, I mean,
no, bro. Not if you're changing up the crop. Don't go back in the same crop. We need a whole new crop. Let's make them a younger bit of crop. You pay them more. Younger people have less likely, a bit more morality. See, old dudes is like, what the fuck? I might as well take the money. I ain't got much going on outside of this. So, you know what I'm saying? A youngster, to me, somebody more in their 40s to 50s, somebody that has a physical background, that has been in combat sports or some other sporting event, football, whatever. I think these people are more plausible when it comes to judging. They understand physicality. They've been in the trenches themselves, so to speak. So you getting pistol pushers to judge a physical contest is kind of ironic to me. You understand what I'm talking about? That's like sending me to a construction site and start telling people what to do on the job site. Like I'm not a construction dude, so I can't go do that. You feel me? So somebody that just knows how to write an article or speak with a lyrical auditoriness, that to me not valuable entities to judge something physical like a boxing match. You need people that experience in them fields. So don't pay the same dirty judges. Get a new crop, sequester them. Like I said, don't call on them so early with an announced event.
Yeah, I get what you mean. There are always guys when you move up. Ward Boutte. I don't know what you're referencing, but oh yeah, no, yeah. When there's always no, but it's different with the Ward and Boutte fight. It's different with that because Ward was just Boutte was just the last remaining dude, but Ward had already cleaned out the best fighters at that time. You could make the argument that when Canelo moved to 168 in the first place, that Benavidez was the best. You could make the argument. I'm not saying that that's a fact, but you could make the argument that Benavidez was the best when he moved up to 168. So Butte wasn't the best when Ward was cleaning out the division. At no stage was he the best. You had Kessler, you had Abraham, you had Froch, so it's a bit different. I'm talking about the headphones log. Yeah, they do that in Russia. They do that in Russia, to be honest. They actually do that in Russia. Which I do feel like people should actually think about in other countries, maybe I don't know, man. There's a lot of things I would do to change the judging. What happened to best fighters fighting all the top contenders to prove they're the best or he the best, bro? Those days are done. Those days are done. And Floyd is my favorite fighter of all time. He's my favorite fighter of all time. I think Floyd is the.
I'll be right back, my dude.
It's cool. I feel Floyd's the GOAT, but even with that being said, I think Floyd, he changed the market. A lot of dudes cared about money and they put money over legacy, which is fair because you got to make a living out of this. But they also wanted to protect that. And I don't think this already. Stay ready. You already know, bro. I'm preaching to the choir right now. Canelo fans don't care about him fighting the best. They only want him to win. Never would I thought I would see Mexican fans okay that a Mexican fighter would avoid an undefeated Mexican fighter. The truth is, you see the situation that it is right now. There's never really been clear direction with Canelo, bro. There's never really been clear direction. There's always, it's always been a bit weird because the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying is because if he fought Bivol and said, you know what, I want to move up to 175 and become undisputed at 175, and my next fight is the winner of Joe Smith Beterbiev, and I want Beterbiev after, that would make sense. Because to me, that would be like, okay, you've become undisputed at 168, move up to 175. But he's going to go on to 175 for one fight, then coming back down to 168 for one fight. And it ain't the best dude at 168 is against Golovkin. Don't make sense to me. There's never, and he done the same thing at 160. He was at 160. He could have unified against Andrade. He moved up to fight Rocky Fielding, came back down to 160 to fight Danny Jacobs, moved up to 175 to fight Kovalev, moved back down. There's never really been a clear direction in which he moves. If he moved up to 175, and I'm pretty sure Blunt would agree with this, if he moved up to 175 and said, you know what, I want to fight Bivol and I want to fight Beterbiev, I want to become undisputed at 175, no one could complain. But the fact that he's moving to 175 and coming back down to 168 to fight someone who's not even a natural 168 in Golovkin, it doesn't make sense. There's no direction. What are you actually fighting for at this point?
And I got a question of why isn't there a mandatory from any of the entities? Like, why are you allowing him to do this and put your title just kind of in limbo to a certain extent? That doesn't make any sense. They do this all the time to force their champions to fight, so to speak. So why aren't you forcing him to fight?
Boxing with Sean said Benavidez has no title. Butte was a champion, but this is what I'm saying to you, bro. So I'm saying to you, when Canelo had originally moved to 168, when he first moved to 168, Benavidez was champion. That's my point. Benavidez was champion. When Andre Ward was cleaning out 168, the common consensus was Kessler was the best at 168. That was the general consensus. Kessler was number one. He had beat Kessler, and then Kessler had went on to lose to Carl Froch. He had beat Carl Froch. He had beat Abraham. So at that time, in their mind, he had beaten the best fighters at that time. Whilst Butte was a champion, he was never considered the best at 160 at any time. At any time. Whereas Benavidez, when Canelo originally moved to 168, the first time when he fought Rocky Fielding, majority of people would say either Zerdo Ramirez or Benavidez was the best. I'm just going by what I would have thought at that time. Maybe I'm wrong, but no one would have said Callum Smith. No one would have said Billy Joe Saunders. No one would have said Plant. It would have had to be either Zerdo or Benavidez. He didn't fight neither of those. So I guess that's what it is. Benavidez never lost his belt in the ring. Yeah, that's a fact. Canelo haters.
Let me tap in on that. Now, when he made that move, do you think he was informed or he had knowledge of Benavidez getting ready to be suspended?
No, but we can answer that very simply because I believe, and this is me being honest, if Benavidez doesn't lose that belt on the scales, he doesn't fight for that WBC title. Remember, he only fought that WBC title once Benavidez lost it on the scales, bro, because he was fighting Callum Smith, and they had made Callum Smith the Callum Smith fight for the WBC belt, whereas before that there was no attempt to make the WBC fight. You know, there was no attempt because they could have made it when they moved up to 168 the first time. You know, when he moved up to 168 the first time, you know, people keep forgetting that he was at 168 in two different spells. Canelo haters want him to fight everyone while allowing those others to literally fight nobody. Lemieux next, bro. I'm gonna keep it real. I love Canelo's next fight. You know, I'm a massive Bivol fan, so I'm giving Canelo all the credit for fighting Bivol. I don't think Bivol's gonna get a fair decision. I think Bivol's gonna get robbed, but at the same time,
so answer me a question. Now that you say that, answer me this: if what's the name? If Taylor did this, would you be in the same scenario of saying, oh, okay, he going up to fight Bud? That's a big move. That's major respect. Instead of fighting the boy Cantrell or whoever else.
I would say the difference with Taylor is there is an argument. I'm not saying I agree with this argument, but there's an argument that Taylor can't make weight anymore. Nobody is saying Canelo can't make 168 anymore. You see my point?
I'm just saying in the scenario of him being an undisputed champ, Canelo being an undisputed champ, instead of defending their belts.
I would understand more for Taylor because, in my opinion, or in Taylor can say I can't make 140 anymore, and in that sense, I can't argue with that. I can't defend these belts because I can't make 140. That's what he can say. Canelo can't say that. Canelo can't say he's too big for 168. He can't say that. You know, he's making 168. He's coming back down to 168 to fight Triple G. You see my point? And Triple G ain't even a 168. Triple G's a 160. You know, he didn't come back down to 160 to fight the best at 168. He's fighting a dude who ain't even a 168. He's fighting someone who's 160. So, I don't know, bro. It's kind of strange to me. I don't know about... I do know, but this is why I don't like what Canelo said. The truth is, bro, I'm going to get off Canelo's back because I do like Canelo's next opponent. But I know I agree with you. When is the last time Spence fought a mandatory? I think Spence's last mandatory was Lamont Peterson, if I'm correct. But yeah, that was a while ago. Long time ago. Kessler, who had already been beat. But yeah, he beat Carl Froch. You could lose a fight. Canelo's been beat, bro. But it's who you win against. There's no way you're telling me There's no way you're telling me when Andre Ward was cleaning out the division that people were ranking Butte ahead of Kessler. I don't remember that. I don't remember that. And I remember I used to buy, like, as a kid, my dad used to buy the newspapers, and every day they, not every week, they used to have the magazines in it. And in the magazine, I remember Carl Froch was the biggest fighter in this country because he was the biggest fighter in this country. Him and Ricky Hatton. And when Kessler had beaten Carl Froch, it was crazy. Like, maybe it was because I was in the UK, but no one was rating Butte ahead of Kessler when I was growing up. I don't know. Maybe we grew up in different times. Um, what does Spence have to do with this conversation? He needs to fight his mandatory too. Of course he does. Everybody needs to fight mandatories. The only difference is, bro, Spence is in a unification. Unification trumps mandatory. So
in this Canelo situation, nobody is really like, they kind of letting the WBC, WBA, WBO, IBF off the hook for allowing this. You understand what I'm saying? Like, even with the anticipation of Undisputed happening, you still have rankings in your own entity that you got to set up and that you're going forward towards your title. So why all of a sudden all that stops once Canelo gets the belt? There's no mandatory lined up for neither entity. Come on, bro. That shit's bogus as fuck.
Yeah, facts. Abraham, who was a 165, yeah, he was 160. He moved up. Butte didn't enter the Super Six because he didn't want the smoke. I don't know if he didn't want the smoke, but he was not. Nobody was considering Butte. Like, you remember, blood. No, when Ward beat everyone and he cleaned out that division, no one was saying fight Butte, but people were seeing Andre Ward as the man.
And at the time, if you look at it, Butte wasn't the bag for that Super Six scenario. They did exactly what they were supposed to do to set that up, to make that a world event. Like, Butte he didn't have the steam or the cachet, even with being a belt holder. So that tells you where boxing had him ranked.
Yeah, and even if you want to say that, bro, he moved up and fought Kovalev. So it's not like it's not like he moved up and fought someone who's not a great fighter. He fought Kovalev, bro. So, like, Andre Ward is far from. He did not duck Butte. If that's what you're trying to imply, he did not duck Butte. YSM, he brought up the Mando. Oh yeah, I don't know. Just like Benavidez didn't enter the Wobbles. What the reason why Benavidez didn't enter? The reason why him and Zoda didn't enter the World Box Super Series is because PBC and Top Rank, they didn't trust that the World Box and Super Series had the purse to pay these dudes, and they were right to believe that. I worked for the World Box and Super Series, so I would know. Trust me, there was a lot of dudes not getting paid. I'm telling you that I worked on numerous World Box and Super Series shows, so I know. Canelo only moved up permanently because Benavidez got stripped. I believe that. I believe
That's what I just said.
I believe that. I believe that, bro. I believe that. I swear to God, I believe that. There's no coincidence. There's no coincidence. He goes to 160, 168. Benavidez is champion, then he moves straight back to 160. He goes back to 168, and then he moves to 175 again. Literally, I just believe that. I'm not saying he's scared of Benavidez or nothing. I ain't saying that because Canelo's the champion. But I personally believe if Benavidez was still WBC champion, Canelo does not fight Benavidez for that WBC belt. I believe that. Honestly, a lot of fighters missed weight during the bubble because your normal weight cutting schedule is thrown off due to regulations. Bro, I can't give any excuses for that. But go ahead, Jeff. Shout out, Jeff's in the building. What's up?
Hey man, big shout out to y'all. I'm trying to catch up. I'm listening. Yo, go ahead.
I get YSM point. If your routine is cut off due to places you're not able to go, your normal things that you do to cut weight, you got to figure out a new plan. Yeah, that could throw off your timing to get yourself back in fighting shape. So I kind of can understand that too.
Just to add on to that real quick, athletes are creatures of habit. So when they habit is thrown off, I mean, some guys use that as an excuse, but yeah, when they get thrown, usually when athletes get thrown off their routine, it usually becomes a problem in some way, shape, or form. So I can understand that.
Tank moved up to fight Barrios, not Taylor Thorne. And I said that I brought that up as well. I brought that up, bro. Everything you're saying, I brought up. I even brought that up to Taylor, bro. When I
But sure, you got to look at it this way though. If you're in your first fight in a new division, the heaviest division you ever fought in, why would you know what I mean? You jump in there with the king dog, you know what I mean? Like you don't want to go in there with a great white. This your first time in the water.
Tank gets criticism for his matchmaking as well, bro. So it's
I
not.
don't think you get criticism for fighting the Barrios.
No, in general, Tank gets criticism for his matchmaking in general. In general, or Mayweather promotion get criticism for the way they matchmake Tank.
Oh yeah, well, of course. I mean, they doing them like Canelo to a certain extent.
Yeah, Andrade, Charlo, Andrade aren't 168 either, but dudes pushing them too. Let me answer that one. Firstly, the Charlo Andrade fight at 168, the time for that fight is gone for me. For me personally, that time for that fight was gone. And you guys know where I'm going with this. Listen, if I'm trying to mess with a chick today and she only want to mess with me when I'm rich, chick, I don't want you no more. So I don't want you no more. So that's the same thing. The time for it was when it was for undisputed. Was when Canelo and Andrade were the only two people with belts at 160. That's when the fight should happen. I don't care about the fight now. Because to me, as you said, Charlo isn't a 160 and Andrade ain't a 160. So I don't want to see them fight at a weight class they ain't ever fought at, like Saunders did, and end up getting destroyed. You know, I don't want to see that.
Jeff, get in here, baby.
I'll move to the next joint. Boxing with Sean. That's because Kawasaki beat Kessler, and people felt Froch was better than him. Nah.
I mean, people didn't think Froch was better than him. Froch just spoke a lot. He just spoke a lot of shit. Nobody thought Froch was better than Kawasaki. No one thought Froch was better than Kawasaki. No one.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Shane on that one. I think the people that thought Froch is better than Kawasaki was basically Froch fans. Outside of that, Kawasaki was that dude. Kawasaki was that dude for sure. Big shout out to YSM Sports Media, man, bro. I could not pick up the phone. I seen it. I could not pick it up, bro. I'm up all night tonight, man. So if you want to rap, we can rap. Canelo hasn't cleaned out 168, not until he fights Benavidez. I agree with that. I agree with that. Boxing with Sean. Spence has 2 titles and has no current Mando from either. That must be bogus too, right?
I mean, he has a mandatory in Boots when Boots beats Clayton.
But in the Spence situation, he's not undisputed, bro. So you talking about 2 divisions not setting up a mandatory when he's going against a unification fight. Of course, they're going to allow that to take a back seat. Canelo's already undisputed, so why wouldn't at least one of the entities have somebody lined up as a mandatory?
What just reading this comment, I'm kind of confused. Like, what's the backdrop? Could y'all tell me what the backdrop to this comment is?
Canelo gets to go to 168. I mean, go 175 and keep his 168 belts. Why? Because there's no mandatory lined up for anybody.
Right. Yeah, he has no Mando. The reason he doesn't have a Mando is strictly because Canelo is open to make, even if Canelo doesn't have the official franchise tag, he's treated like the franchise tag. You understand what I'm saying? So they're gonna leave things open for him to make moves. If you notice, boxing with Sean, and you know your boxing, bro. Like, you know your boxing. The top guys in the sport, they very rarely get locked down to mandatories. Floyd, you never seen him fight mandatories. Like, once he got to the pinnacle as far as money was concerned. Pacquiao, you never seen him fight mandatories. Canelo, you never see him fight mandatories. There's just certain guys that just you almost never see them with mandatories because they're just that big. And I think is that more than anything else. But Spence is not at that point yet. They still gonna throw Mandos his way. But he's but like Shane say all the time, man, unification beats a Mando. You know what I'm saying? So as long as he's fighting unification fights and other champions, if the Mando got to get skipped, then I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with it But I do think Mandos need to get their shot though, and I think Vlog said that a while ago. Mandos deserve their opportunity, so I agree with that as well. So it's up to the sanctioning bodies. They gotta kind of bridge that gap a little bit, man. Boxing was showing no in Ward's first fight. He fought Smith.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, he fought Smith.
He said then Barrera. That was he fought. You said he fought Barrera. Oh, Sullivan, right? You talking about Sullivan? Yeah.
Sullivan Barrera.
Then a bum. Who was the bum?
I even remember.
He said, "I see clear double standards, boys."
I'm not. My point is, there's no way. The reason why I brought it up is my point is there's no way. Andre Ward was ducking Butte. That's what you're implying. There's no way Andre Ward was ducking that Butte fight. It just didn't happen.
Oh, that's what Sean said.
Yeah,
that's what he believes.
That's what he's insinuating.
Yeah, I don't. Now Ward. Now people don't talk about Ward and the difficulties he had from the business end. The only reason he really got out of his contract because Goosen passed away. But he was in a lot of business and contract disputes and things like that. So, Sean, you got to factor that in too. Like he didn't get. There was a couple fights he didn't get.
He sat on the bench for a while.
Yeah, hey Sean, if it wasn't for the Super Six, Andre Ward's his resume would be very incomplete. So he was the most beneficial out of all of them in terms of the Super Six, because if it wasn't for the Super Six, he wouldn't have got a lot of those fights. He wouldn't have got a lot of those fights if it wasn't the Super Six involved. So I don't know about the double standard thing, but it's just when it come down to some fighters, man, like the rules don't apply to everybody the same way. You know what I mean? Like it's like how life goes. Like the bigger you are, the more you can do, the more you can get away with. So that's the same thing with boxing. YSM, you only have an hour of gym time. You can't control the temperature, and you have to stay in your room 20 hours of the day. Yeah, I just I know where you're going with that. I do agree that it's difficult. At the same time, what do you say to the person that did make weight?
That's my point.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
people's done it. So
I know you probably spoke on it already. Like, what's your thoughts on that? Like, just the whole like during the basically the pandemic.
I get it.
Okay.
I get it.
Okay. Yeah, I see it both. I see it both ways.
Yeah, I mean, I understand discipline, but if everybody has a new routine they got to develop, it's not going to happen that fast. You're in the middle of your camp situation. So, you know what I mean? You got cut him a break on that.
Benavidez is his own worst enemy in this.
Yeah, you stole my thunder, man, because I was getting ready to tell YSM the reason why Benavidez missed weight, and he had his own gym. He had his own gym during the
to me, bro.
He said the week during that. He said the week of the fight, his routine.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. But bro, at the end of the day, bro, you know why it's unfortunate, but it's the way boxing is, isn't it? Like, to me, the only reason why Canelo's even allowed to avoid you, the only reason why he's even allowed to avoid you is because you missed weight, bro. If you didn't miss weight, he couldn't avoid you. Or he could, but he couldn't lay claim to undisputed.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, let me add that even if he didn't miss weight and he was a champion, he just wouldn't have unified at 68.
Yeah.
He still would have avoided.
Yeah, but he couldn't lay claim to undisputed. That's my point.
Correct. I agree.
So he's his own worst enemy, bro.
Agreed. Boxing was showing, but Canelo gets stripped for Rocky Fielding.
He gets ripped. For Rocky Fielding.
Oh, he gets ripped for Rocky Fielding. He gets ripped
for Rocky Fielding because, for one, Rocky Fielding wasn't even a real champion at the time, and for two, you could have unified against Andrade. So,
yeah, I just Sean, for no other reason, I just don't like Rocky Fielding. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just I don't want to see Rocky Fielding in the ring with nobody. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just
Coming
some
back to
guys.
fight too. That's crazy.
Yeah, some guys I'm just not interested in seeing fight. Like, he's just one of them guys I'm just not interested in. Slimy Guys team, big shout out to you. You say what's good. Munguia, Charlo, a good fight. Yeah, I thought it was interesting that they sent him a contract.
What you think the money was? Shane, what you think the money was for?
What'd you say, bro?
About 2 million, $1.5 million, 2 million.
What the offer was?
Yeah.
That's a good question. That's a good question. What'd you say, Shane? You said $1.5 million, 2
2
million?
million. Yeah, 1.5 million, 2 million.
That was just straight for Munguia?
Yeah, for Munguia.
No, I think they offered him a little more than that.
Thank you. What? I was thinking more like
I think 4 to 5. More than that.
Why do you think that?
To me, it's a $10 to $12 million fight.
I have to disagree with that.
Yeah, I for the reason of would you say $1.5 million, 1.5
or 2, $1 million or 2?
I'll put it to you like this: if they were honestly considering 1.5 or $2 million, they wouldn't have. I don't think they would have put an offer out. Period.
No, because
there's some numbers that's just a non-starter. Like,
no,
it's a non-starter.
No, the reason why I'm saying that is what's Munguia getting paid now?
I don't know if he's getting paid now, but the thing is, it's a unification fight. That fight's probably going down in Texas.
It's not unification. It's not unification.
It's not unification, correct? But he's a big name in Texas. Yes,
has he had any pay? How much pay? He hasn't even had a pay-per-view yet.
And what has Charlo done?
Charlo's at least on a pay-per-view before, and Charlo's a champion, and Charlo is the house fighter.
But I think they would have offered him. I think they offered him more. I think they offered him more than 2.
Look, what did Teofimo Lopez get against? What did Teofimo Lopez get against Loma, or what did Loma get against Teofimo Lopez? I mean, Loma only got what, 4 million or 3 million against.
That's his range, though.
But Bob underpays his people.
That's his range. That's his range. That's his regular range.
And what's Munguia's regular range? That's my point.
I don't know, but I guarantee you he's making.
I guarantee he's making less than
what you gotta understand, Shane, is they must give him a reason to come across the street. It's just not for the belt. Because there's other routes towards belts that he could take.
But at the end of the day, bro, there is no bigger payday for Munguia right now. There is no bigger payday for Munguia right now.
1.5 to $2 million is not enough to say cross the street.
That's what I'm thinking. 4, maybe 5.
I wouldn't even waste my time offering Oscar. This is Oscar we dealing with, Shane. This is Oscar we dealing with. So, off the strength of their relationship, they know not to even come to them with a bullshit contract like that because you're going to get the phone hung up on you.
All right, cool. Maybe they didn't offer him that, but I'm telling you what I believe he's worth in a fight. In a fight like that, in a fight where I personally don't believe that fight does 100 pay-per-view buys. I don't think it does 100.
So if you're saying that, right? If you're saying that it doesn't do 100, then you can't say Charlo's the house fighter, this, that, and the third, because the numbers are still shit according to your numbers.
I don't believe it does 100, bro.
That's what I'm saying. You said Charlo's the house fighter. What has Munguia done? Charlo's the house fighter. So I said, so you said in a pay-per-view they not doing 100. If that's the case, then Charlo not moving the needle either.
I know, but he's a champion and he's the house fighter.
Yeah, but that's it. But at
the end of the day, though, let me ask you this: what is Charlo getting?
In my opinion, I think Charlo will get something. If Munguia is getting 5 million, I believe Charlo's getting something. And if Munguia getting 2 million, I believe Charlo's getting like 5 to 6 million.
Y'all think that's a $10 million fight?
I think it is, and I think you split it up 60-40.
You think that's a 10? So you tell me where there's $10 million in that fight. Tell me where there's $10 million in that fight.
I guarantee you could do something with that boy from the Cowboys. Do something to fill one of them stadiums like that,
Are
You could
you
do
insane? Are you insane, bro? Mikey Garcia.
bro, Tim Bradley had a fight in one of them Texas stadiums. Come on
How,
now.
how much did it sell? How much tickets did it sell, bro?
I mean, I I ain't never really been numbers wise, but I know he had fannies in the seat.
Bro, Errol Spence and Mikey done 40,000. That ain't even doing half. That might be 20,000.
Earl was still on the come up at that time. So if anybody bought the fight,
Errol was bigger than Charlo, bro. Errol was bigger than Charlo. No matter how you look at it.
At the time of the Earl Spence Mikey Garcia fight, Earl did not have the steam he has right now. There's no way in the world you could tell.
He didn't, not the steam that he has right now, but he was still bigger than.
Charlo he's consistently had the cachet to kind of make sure he's
based on what, bro? Based on what, bro? This dude's coming up a fight with
undefeated.
Errol was undefeated,
reigning middleweight champion.
And Errol was undefeated. Errol was a champion at the time, bro.
Thank you. That's my point.
But Errol was fighting Mikey and only got 40,000, bro. Errol was fighting Mikey and only got 40,000.
When major belts are on the line, these fights stand out more to casuals who buy these sort of pay-per-views.
Bro,
so let me finish. You probably missed 10 to 15, maybe 20,000 sales because there's no world title around that sort of fight with Spence and Mikey Garcia. Then with Mikey coming up in weight like that, again, the odds were stacked against him that anybody really wanted to see that. Bro, so it was hard to even push that fight.
You're saying this fight does 10 million. So let's talk about this mathematically. Let's do maths. Jeff, did Porter versus Crawford do 10 million?
You talking about in terms of paydays, or what we talking about?
I'm talking about how much money did it generate? Did it generate $10 million?
I doubt it because it did one something.
Okay.
It did 100 something.
Does this do more pay-per-view buys than that?
What was Terence Crawford in them number?
I think so.
120.
I think so.
You are on drugs, bro, if you believe that.
But you're not understanding. Listen, bro,
I gotta think about that.
Bud has a certain fan base. That's not the majority of boxing. When you look at a fighter like Munguia, he's bringing a whole group of fans to a fight, to the possibility of purchasing a fight that will make him win a two-time world champion. So
if that's the case, let's keep it real. If that's the case, then why isn't Munguia a flip? Why isn't Munguia? Look at his level of competition. Look at the level of competition he's been in there, and look at the stardom and the lack of attraction that he's fighting.
All right, let me finish breaking it down. You know why people will pay for this fight? To see Charlo lose. The possibility of Charlo losing. You got to have a good and bad guy in a scenario to sell a fight. Charlo's obviously the bad guy.
There will be people.
Then you have the Latino fighting the black scenario going on.
There will be people paying for that. There will be people paying for that 100%. But we're talking about two dudes who haven't done one successful pay-per-view amongst themselves, and you're asking them to generate $10 million, bro. You are absolutely insane if you think that's gonna happen. Insane. And I'll bet both of you guys. In fact, Jeff still owes me money on another bet, but I'll bet both of you don't.
We ain't gonna say nothing though.
Hold on. Wait.
I'll bet both of you don't.
Hold on. I didn't even give my opinion on this, and you throwing me to the wolves, baby. I ain't even say if it make 10 million or not. I said I gotta think about it. I don't think it does 10 million. So let me ask this so we can kind of bridge the gap a little bit. Do we know what Charlo's guarantee is?
No, I don't know what Charlo's guarantee.
If you had to guess, what you think it is?
Without backing money,
correct.
2 million.
So all right, let's just say Charlo's getting 2 mil guaranteed, right? Jaime Munguia, that's a step up fight, in a sense, for him. It's an upper level fight for him. So obviously they're not going to pay him his minimum. So 2. So I'm thinking maybe 4, something like that. Let's just say they pay him 4.
Charlo.
More.
Yeah.
4.5. I think they offered Munguia over 2 because you have to compensate. So it's more than just what is he worth. It's what is he worth plus what extra are you giving him to cross the street. So they putting tax on that. You know what I'm saying? So when you said 1.5, that's not enough tax. Like they're not even making the call.
Okay, so
I would say maybe 2.5 to 2.5 to 2.5 to 3. 2.5 to 3. I think that's a 7. That's between a $7 to $8 million fight if it's in Texas.
Come on, Jeff. How far away from 10 is that?
I didn't say you were. I didn't say you were. But I didn't say. But vlog. If I completely disagree with you, I'm coming out and I'm saying that. I didn't say you're 10.
No, I'm just saying though. That's what I mean. In my estimate, what you saying that to me, that's the lower end of possibility.
But this is my point. This is my point. If it's an $8 million fight, bro, listen to what you're saying. If it's an $8 million fight,
right,
and Charlo is getting $5 million. And Munguia is getting $3 million. That is, if my maths is correct, that is basically 60-40.
That's what I think.
You think that's a fair split? You both think that's a fair split?
Yes, that is. Jaime Munguia is a 38 fight winning former champion.
Jaime Munguia is not a champion.
Again,
former champion, bro. That's what I said. Former champion.
Charlo's the champion, bro. Off the rip. If Charlo was fighting a mandatory, bro, it's 70-30. If he fights a mandatory, it's 70-30 or 75-25. If he fights a mandatory,
but most mandatories aren't coming with the cachet that Jaime Munguia has.
I know that's why you give him more than 25, but you don't give him as high as 40. And you give someone who's not on your platform. You give someone that's not on your platform 40%.
Shane.
So our Heyman's in the business of losing money. That's basically what you're saying. Our Heyman's in the business of losing money.
This is a Texas fight. That's not gonna lose money, bro.
Trust me. This is gonna lose money. I hope you could never work for PBC, bro.
Shane, 25% is not gonna get anybody to cross the street. 30% is not gonna get anybody across the street. It's not a matter of what Munguia is worth as a fighter. He may be worth 25 to 30%, but because of the fact that he has to cross the street, it's the tax on it. You know what I'm saying? And that's my point. Like, there's a certain level of tax that's going to have to be paid out for Munguia to come across the street, and the reason why, and it's leverage. Like, it's leverage. Think about it. Al Heyman is offering a cross the street fight. That's how you know he has no options. None. So you're not, if you don't have any options, you're not gonna start out.
How much did PBC offer Golovkin to fight Charlo?
I don't know. Off the top of my head, I don't know.
Well, that will give you your answer, because there's no way he's gonna get what Golovkin got, because Golovkin's a bigger fighter than Munguia.
Yeah, I don't know.
At this point in their careers, I don't know. I beg to differ.
Yeah,
I beg to differ.
Yes.
Who's a bigger fight? Who's a bigger fight? Well, what's a bigger fight? Not who's a better fighter. What's a bigger fight?
What,
Munguia or Triple G?
No, Triple G is a bigger fight because Triple G is a bigger name. Now hold on. Now is Munguia name hotter in these streets? Yes. But is Triple G the bigger name? Yes, he's the bigger name. He's a bigger name.
Again,
hey, vlog, are you saying his name hotter in the streets? Munguia.
I agree with that estimation, but when you talking about level of fight too, that's what I mean. You don't just need a name that's not going to provide the level of fight that the fans is looking for and that you're looking to give the fans.
I get you, but at the end of the day, Golovkin's a unification. Munguia is nothing.
In this scenario, but Golovkin currently Well, he not gonna be. He can get beat the fuck up by the goddamn Japanese.
I'm talking about at the time they offered.
I know. I get you. I can't argue that. I get you. Unification here.
Hey, Shane.
Would be 60-40.
Shane, what
50-50.
Charlo Munguia, what number are you putting on that? I'm
What,
talking in terms of money. Like, is that a $6 million fight for you? $7 million fight? 8?
No, I agree. It's 7 to 8 million. I agree with you, and I agree with 7. I just don't think they're gonna give Munguia 40%.
So let me throw this at you real quick. You let me know if you. Well, I actually want both of y'all opinions on this. So that fight goes down to Texas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say they get Jerry Jones to get, they get involved or whatever. It's Cowboy Stadium, but they close part of it off. Now, I do know that the ticket prices in Texas are pretty reasonable for bigger fights. If they're leaving an extra maybe $2 million or something on the table for the undercard, there's a lot of mix and matches they can do as far as the undercard, where they can really make the undercard really, really solid. And I don't mean maybe like huge names, but like action fights that's going to get Texas up and out there. I can see a scenario where the pay-per-view numbers are possibly under 100. I think it would do. I think it'll do maybe 75, depending on the undercard or whatever.
Bro, you gotta look at the market we're in as well. Canelo versus Bivol pay-per-view. What's it called? Errol Spence versus Ugas pay-per-view. Tank Davis next fight pay-per-view. Bro, there's so much pay-per-views coming out right now, and then you're about to put this fight on pay-per-view. Munguia versus Charlo. No, by the way,
that's not, hold up. That's not saying they doing it within May or something like that. They may hit us with a midsummer sort of fight. We know your boy got, that we got the out of the ring issue. So I'm sure that's part of how they gonna plan the fight scenario.
Let's just say
they got to go back and forth to court. You're not running around promoting the fight.
Yeah, let's just say you got a clean. They got a clean slate. They don't have to worry about another pay-per-view within like a week or two. Like, they got a clean slate. It's them by themselves. I can see them having a high number in the arena, so they got a pretty good gate, but the pay-per-view numbers is under 100.
I was thinking
I can definitely see that. I could see between 70 to 80,000
getting the gate
70 to 80.
If you get 80, 85, if you could push 85, you do a sick gate in like that Arlington Stadium, that practice stadium in Arlington, Texas.
Yeah, because they
get some fannies.
What's 85? I'm only going to do the math, bro. Let's get through the comps. I'm going to do the math.
85 at $70, 80 at 80 a pop.
Yeah,
I think
that's bonkers.
I think just I'm gonna get to the comments in a second, but just to cap this off in regards to that,
that's 6.
I can see them doing. Million. I can see them doing. They gonna get at least 15 to 20,000 in a building.
That's 6.4 million, blunt.
6.4 plus they gotta pay pretty much 30-40% to the company.
Television company
for them to break even.
They have
that
to do
fight, if it's an $8 million, if it's an $8 million fight, then they gonna have to do
100,000.
Yeah, they would have to actually probably between 120 to 140, between 120 to 150,
and then
pay-per-view
break even. The extras.
Yeah, and then we gotta factor in. You gotta factor in the
gate.
Gotta factor in the gate. So the gate should be pretty. The gate should be pretty good. I mean,
look, what did Wilder and Fury do in the gate? Wilder and Fury's gate was what? That was a hell of a good gate, bro. That was a hell of a
gate. That gate was nice. Let me
they charged $1,500 a ticket. That gate should have did numbers.
They was charging mortgage money for them joints, man. For
you
sure.
Think that's bad, bro? Out here, bro, you got a nice 100,000 stadium, bro. The cheapest ticket is $250. And you're in a nosebleed seat, bro. You can't see an elephant on the ground, bro. You're that high in the
sky. I wish the fuck I would go up there and try to watch a fucking fight. Man, I'd be at the crib.
Right. Boxing with Sean.
Need
Right.
a telescope to watch this fight, bro.
Man, some
If I
fucking
gotta pay
binoculars and a
$250 and
telescope.
if I'm paying $250 and I'm looking like this, that's the problem. Like, you know what I mean? Boxing was showing I agree. We need man dudes to keep promoters in check. Agreed.
Bro, let me
Boxing.
jump up and come back in 1 second.
Go ahead, bro. Go. Boxing was showing. I'm talking about Canelo compared to Canelo and how soon is given pass while others get ripped. Sean, as far as Canelo is concerned, what we do on here, and like I said, I came into the conversation late. We a lot of times people come in here and they talk about Canelo and they leave stuff out. So a lot of times we spend a lot of our time actually adding information and stuff that people leave out to kind of complete the story. And that's what we do. But we fuck with Canelo. Like we fuck with him. But it's certain things that people leave out, and we just make sure everything's on the table when we're talking Canelo. Like he's the cash cow of the sport. We got to have everything on the table. It's no different than Floyd. Same thing. Pacquiao, same treatment. When whoever's the top guys, we got to make sure when we talking about them, all the facts is on the table. Everything's on the table. So I know that's what I do. I know that's what Vlog does, and that's what Shane try to do. But just because we do that does not mean we don't rock with set A fighter. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how we get down over here, though. But YSM said G5, Sean is okay with Canelo avoiding certain fighters. Okay. He said Ward. YSM, you give those same fighters a pass. Why you don't hold them to the fire? Be consistent. That's all I'm saying. I hold everyone accountable. I see things from everyone's perspective. There is no way you can justify Canelo not fighting Benavidez.
Well, YSM sound like me in the chat back in the day.
Yeah. Said neither was Barrios. He said you clearly have a horse in the race, Sean. He said I don't. I like Triple G. You're just clearly pushing double standards. Okay, him and YSM going back. Okay, I like this. He said if you have to use other fighters to justify your argument with Canelo, then you already lost the debate. Spence needs to fight his Mando. Tank needs to fight the best at 135, and Canelo needs to fight Benny. Let me see. He said, "No, now you're deflecting. I'm using examples. You are giving a pass." Jamie Leroy, what's going on, bro? He said AJ versus Joyce might be next, boys, with Usyk in Ukraine. I like that fight. I think AJ might get iced in that fight. I ain't gonna fraud.
Man, AJ said he put the tips on your boy back in the day. So
man, this ain't back. Man, he got silk. He got silk sheets, bro. He got silk sheets and a silk chin. Like I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Boxing Sean, proving my point. Cheers. Hold on, YSL. I'm enjoying this back and forth between these two because I fuck with both of them. You need to look in the mirror. I like Canelo over Benavidez, Charlo, and Andre, but Canelo has actively avoided fights with them for years. If you are okay with it, cool, but I'm not. Said
you tripping, YSL. You tripping, bro. That old ass version of Canelo that we just saw against Plant has major issues with Benavidez. Charlo fuck around and catch him. Maybe Andre slowed down enough. That's kind of more of an even fight, but I'm just I can't rock with you and say he's favored in all three fights.
I mean, would he be a betting favorite? Obviously, because he's Canelo. Fighting all three of those guys, they bring a certain level of problems to Canelo. Just you put on your boxing glasses and you can obviously see that Benavidez will bring a certain set of problems. Andre will bring a certain set of problems, and so will Charlo. Now, as far as what YSM and Sean are going back and forth about, the main thing I can say about this is the guys that we want to see Canelo fight are the only guys left that we feel like is like next level competition. for him. Like, let's be real. There's not a lot of guys for Canelo to fight. There's not a lot of guys for Canelo to fight. That's top level. It's not a lot. Benavidez, Charlo, Andrade. He's getting ready to fight Bivol. Beterbiev, that's 5. Who am I missing, vlog? That's 5.
That's it
That's
for me.
That's it. So
you're adding Bivol, and Bivol's not in the division. So the division
is 2 of the guys. 2 of the. But the thing is, Benavidez is technically the only dude in his weight class
in the division.
Division. So
that's what I'm saying. The one thing about the division is being fed or trying to be fed by upcoming champions. You're not just getting a guy that was a former champion. Now I'm finally going to 168 and I'm begging for opportunity. No, these guys are the current champions talking about going up. So they should be getting look.
Yeah, so I'm in vlog. No, good point. And the thing about it is, from Sean's perspective, is like, okay, he's fighting this dude. He can't fight everybody. Sean, in response to that, like I said, like, eventually, if he beats Bivol and he beats Triple G, there's only a few guys left that he can fight that's gonna garner the attention that he desires. So if he beats them too, it's either the PBC guys, Andrade, or Beterbiev. And Beterbiev really don't have a big name. He's a big time fighter, but he doesn't have a big name. You talking about name guys. There's not, just because of the weight classes he's floating around in. 160 is lukewarm. 168, lukewarm. 175 is hot. 175 hot. Don't get me wrong. It's hot. But these are the fights. I think these are fights that people want to see, because there's just not a lot of big name guys for him to fight. So, and as far as YSM, he's saying that Canelo is ducking these fighters. Sean, one thing I will say about that is, he's picking and choosing where to go unification at. He had an opportunity to fight Andrade, and it was unification. It would have been unification, and he decided not to go that route. And I'm giving you this. I'm painting this picture to you, bro, because I'm telling you what other people say when they jump on here. You know what I'm saying?
How far you down in the comments?
Hey man, I gotta get ready to slide out this side door.
All right, bro.
Good to talk to y'all, man. I'm gonna holler at y'all cast tomorrow.
Yeah, all right, bro. I'll get with you.
All right, fam.
No, I'm here with it, but I'm talking to Sean and why something real quick. But Sean, here's the thing. So Canelo, Shane and I say this all the time. He's the only person in the sport. We don't give a damn what weight class it is. We're gonna throw Canelo up in there. It don't matter if it's 168, 160, 175. You even seen Makabu with cruiserweight. He's the only dude in the sport. They throw him up against everybody, no matter the weight class, no matter the circumstances. To be honest with you, Oscar got that same treatment in his prime. Floyd got that same treatment in his prime. Pacquiao got that same treatment in his prime. I mean, at one point they wanted Pacquiao to fight Golovkin. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so it's this when you're at that.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, they wanted him to fight Golovkin. Like, so they wanted Floyd to fight Golovkin. Like, it's just,
yeah, I remember that.
When it gets to like when guys when guys get to a certain level, you got to understand they're gonna get thrown in with a bunch of different names. Like, that's just how it goes. It just comes with the territory, just being that dude. Like, Canelo's that dude. So that's just, it's going to come with the territory. So you're going to hear Charlo. You're going to hear Benavidez. You're going to hear Andrade. You're going to hear Beterbiev. You're going to hear, Zertos, the Joe Smiths of the world. Like, you just want to see the cash cow fight everybody. That's just what it is. Like, and you got to embrace that. Now, Canelo has made it clear that he's definitely going to maneuver in these streets how he wants. And He had his opportunity to fight Andre, and Sean, we can agree on this one. Whatever fight Canelo wants, he gets. Shane, can we agree on that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whatever fight Canelo wants, he gets. So if he really wanted to fight Andre, he could have made that happen, and it would have been for unification. It would have been important. It would have been important. And at that time, you can make the argument that Andre's name was hotter in these streets than Caleb Plant's was when he fought Canelo. You can make that claim because even back then, Andre was considered the boogeyman back then. Shane, am I correct? So he would have got paid off that fight. It would have been unification for that fight. And he decided not to go that route. Charlo, same thing. He could have fought Charlo. He could have fought Charlo. It would have been belts involved and things of that nature. He decided not to go that route. At the time that Benavidez was a champion, Canelo did not say he wanted to unify 168. That's a fact. You know what I'm saying? When Benavidez wasn't a champion, Canelo said, I'm coming down to 168 and I'm unifying. These are the things that people like YSM and other people are bringing up, and that's why they're saying what they're saying. Is it fair? That's up to interpretation. That's, if you don't feel like that's fair, that's cool. I'm just telling you what people are actually saying when it comes down to Canelo. Now, do I think Canelo is like ducking in a sense? See, Shane and I always say it's different types of ducking. Like, nobody's saying Canelo's ducking because he's scared. Like, all three of those fights, Canelo's coming in as a favorite. Like, so I don't think it's that.
I mean, right now, bro, I would say hell no, because Bivol's a better fighter than both of all of
Well,
them.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
but when you go down and fight Golovkin, that's when I'm like, that's a bit shady, bro. Golovkin's name is cold. Golovkin ain't done nothing in boxing for years now. I mean, let's keep it real. Golovkin's best win in the last 3 years is Derevianchenko, and even that fight was controversial.
But is that a Canelo decision or a DAZN decision? We all know that's the fight that DAZN wants.
I know, but Canelo don't have to accept it. Canelo could have accepted the PBC deal.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, he could have. He could have, but
to me, bro, I thought, what you're gonna hear from me. This is what you're gonna hear from me, bro. If Canelo beats Bivol comprehensively, now if he beats him comprehensively, and he fights Golovkin, I'm not even going to talk about Benavidez and Charlo. You know what I'm going to talk about? I'm going to talk about Beterbiev, because that's undisputed.
Understood.
He would have
Beterbiev's
belt. I mean, he would have Bivol's belt, so I want to see undisputed.
I'm listen, and I'm with that, and I think you missed the back and forth that YSM and Boxing with Sean had.
No, they've been having a back and forth before you even came on this live.
Oh, okay. So they've been going. Okay, so that's the thing. Like, it's just Sean. I just need for Sean to understand that when you the cash cow, when you the big dog, this just comes with the territory. Nobody's saying that Canelo's ducking because he's scared to fight these dudes. Like, he is obviously moving around strategically, which is what he is supposed to do. Floyd moved around strategically. He caught criticism for some of the decisions he made.
Like a damn broken record, bro. It's so annoying. It's not your fault. It's just so frustrating. I hate talking about this dude. Like, it's frustrating.
The thing is, like, and you know what? And Shane, I'm actually glad you said that, because I listened to T Street Controversy, and he was talking about like YouTube channels. He didn't say anyone specific, but like YouTube channels, and it's just like a lack of variety and things like that. And he's just basically saying there's a lack of quality when it comes down to like YouTube channels and what they cover. And the thing about it, your comment that you just made kind of personifies that in a sense, because we're tired of talking about Canelo, and you know what I mean? Like, this is like mainstream stuff, but I'm like, this is the battle that we have as an actual media outlet. This is the battle that we're having. Like, to be honest with you, we rather be talking about Stephen Fulton and unification. We rather be talking about Montana Love and what's his next move going to be. I'd rather be talking about ESPN having Jack Catterall number 1 at 140.
What?
Yes, they have him number 1 at 140. So those are the things that I would like to talk about. But because we're so
So he's
interactive,
number 1 at 135.
I don't know, and I don't even care. Once I seen that, it was worthy of. They lucky I didn't make that the topic for today.
Bro, keep going through them comments, bro.
Yeah,
that's funny.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, but yeah, Sean, it just come with the territory, man. It come with the territory. Like, it's just Canelo's a cash cow. Like, it is what it is. So
Rarely.
Right. YSM said, "Yup. Just as long as you fight quality fighters like Amir Khan, Rocky Fielding, Abney Yildirim, laugh my ass off, cut the shit.
Yeah,
pay-per-view isn't the only way to generate money. It cleared over 10 mil with Geek and closed circuit TV.
I mean, it did. Fair enough. I mean, it's done 110,000 on pay-per-view, so, and it was in Nebraska. Terrence Crawford does well in Nebraska, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does well. Yeah. Sean, Mikey was a bigger name than Munguia, and they were also fighting for a world title. 2.5 to 1. Hold on. He said 2 and 1.5 were upside for both. Charlo can fight Adamas and probably will in-house fight. Sean, I could definitely see that happening. Gerald Fields, MOB, what's going on? Say salute to everyone. Salute to you, good brother. Chris G. No, it's not. That's a good fight. That's a good fight. Chris G, Benavidez, Charlo, Andre need to fight each other. Benavidez will probably be on top of those 3. Listen, Chris, I'm not, and I gotta call you too, like, but I'm not shying away from a good fight. I'm not shying away from a good fight. That's just what it is. Michael Johnson in the building, man. Big shout out to you, bro. Like, he be showing us mad love, yo. Big shout out to Michael Johnson, man, for sure. Charlo and Benavidez don't necessarily have to fight each other, because when Canelo done with Bivol and old Gout Man Triple G, who else? I mean,
bro, trust me.
They probably think Michael Johnson. They probably thinking the same thing. Try to wait it out. Sean, but Turbiev would be for 175 undisputed. That's the same thing Shane said. Ashley's corner. Big shout out to you. Said I've been listening and working with Sub G5. Ashley, big shout out to you. Sean, Canelo got stripped by IBF. That's why Andre undisputed didn't happen. He petitioned the IBF to get him passed.
I'm not
they
going
said
down
no.
this road. I've been arguing this point with what's my dude's name, Edwin, for the last week or so. And this is the last time I will say it. When he asked for the IBF petitioned for, and I done it yesterday. The IBF petitioned or ordered Derevianchenko versus Canelo in the 5th of July. He petitioned for an exemption on the 21st of July. His fight with what's it called? His fight with Danny Jacobs was in May. Now I am not a master of the Gregorian calendar. The last time I checked, July is 2 months after May. So at the end of the day, you could have easily within those 2 months, the same effort you put into fight Andrade after they ordered the fight, you could have put in it within those 2 months, especially knowing that fight was in-house and neither fight had the fight at that time.
And Sean, let me add this, and I don't know, I know you be watching. For the record, Shane and I feel like Bivol is better than Charlo. better than Benavidez and Andre. We feel like that's the bigger. So that's our opinion. It's no knock against Charlo. It's no knock against Andre. We rock with all 3 of them. But
if Canelo fought Bivol and Beterbiev in his next 2 fights, bro, I don't care what any fan wants to say. I'll be a Canelo fan as well, bro. That is a killer list. That is a kill. Ain't no way, bro. That dude is a killer. If he went and done that, bro, he's a killer.
And on top of that, showing this for you, bro. When it comes down to it, there's no blueprint on Bivol. And that's what Shane and I be saying. So, like, if you take YSM will tell you, like, he's regular. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's regular in a sense in terms of his style, punch output, all that. But I say, yo, like, he's boxing's Tim Duncan. He's boxing's Tim Duncan. You know what I'm saying? Basics, fundamentals, but he's great at it. You know what I'm saying? If he beats Bivol is the number 2 175-pounder in the world, and depending on who you ask, he may be the top dude at 175. So I think it's more impressive for Canelo to go up in weight, to go see Bivol at 175 to fight for his title, than to have Andre move up, Charlo move up, and then the Benavidez fight. He would cause Canelo some problems, but Benavidez hasn't really been in with no stiff competition either. So I think it's actually more risky for him to go up and actually see a Bivol than to have Charlo move up or to have Andre move up. So I don't have a problem with him taking the zone route. I don't have a problem with it.
I've been on record saying if Canelo beats Bivol, he's pound for pound number 1.
Yo,
I've been on record saying it.
Sean, if he spanks Bivol,
fairly.
And listen, Shane,
fairly.
And Shane and I are in the minority on this. There's not many people that think of Bivol the way we think of Bivol. But he's when it comes down to the number, you break down the numbers offensively and defensively, he's the most efficient guy in the sport.
Point blank period.
And the numbers ain't lying. Like, he's
whether
12.
You want to say he fights C level, B level, A level, whatever. Nobody deals with their level of competition. Everybody fights C level fighters. They just don't fight him as good as Bivol does.
So if Canelo goes up to 175, no rehydration, no bullshit, and he goes in there and he spanks Bivol, I think that's more impressive. That's more impressive.
That is I cannot criticize that. I would never criticize Canelo again.
And on top of that, Triple G. A lot of people think that's 1-1. Canelo and Triple G. A lot of people felt like Triple G won the first fight. A lot of people felt like Canelo.
He ain't fighting Triple G because Triple G's gonna lose. So I don't think Triple G.
Well, hypothetically, if Triple G wins, there's guys like me that felt like Triple G won both fights. So even though Triple G is ice cold in these streets, and he may be hot in these streets if he do what he got to do with Murata, he may be hot in these streets by the time that by the time that fight come around. It's still the Bivol fight is it for me. The Bivol fight is it for me because that's the one that's the riskiest fight he can take outside of Benavidez. That's the riskiest fight he could take.
Outside of Beterbiev.
But he's not in the equation though yet.
I wouldn't even bring up Benavidez because the truth is, bro, I respect Benavidez very. I think Benavidez caused Canelo all types of problems. Here's the issue though. Benavidez doesn't really have nothing that he's bringing to the table.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just.
And I don't even want Canelo to fight Charlo and Andre. I'm being dead. I don't even want him to fight him. Those days are done.
I just felt like the time has passed, you know. But listen, if Charlo goes up to 168 and Andre goes up to 168 and they get a fight or two in, and Canelo's still holding the belts at 168, then yeah, let's get it on.
I much prefer what we're seeing right now with PBC trying to negotiate a deal with Munguia and Eddie trying to negotiate a deal with Andrade to fight Benavidez. I much prefer that.
And the thing is, that puts ultimate pressure on Canelo because I'm like, if Benavidez beats Andre or Andre beats Benavidez and Charlo beats Munguia, then their names is hot.
Mm-hmm.
Their names is hot. So, do I want to see them in higher level fights? Absolutely. I want to see them in higher level fights because if they win, it puts ultimate pressure on the cash cow to come pay them a visit. And you can't say their names can't be mentioned, because if they're legit fighting in 168 and Canelo holds all the belts, then we have every right to mention their names with Canelo, because he's still holding all the belts. Now, if he drops the belts, that's something different. But let's keep it moving. John, what's going on, John? Said,
Granny, you put your email address in this chat, bro. You keep skipping that point, bro. Put your email address in here, bro.
Oh, John, no, I think he did, bro.
No, he didn't, bro. When you put your email address, you can't put links in the chat. I went back. I
gotta check. No, I'm not talking about in the chat. I think he emailed me, and I gotta check. I could have sworn I seen something on Facebook. I gotta check. But we'll get to that. Don't people realize Canelo couldn't make 160 anymore? Why do you think he was taking clenbuterol to make weight?
I ain't got nothing to say to that.
I don't know. I'm not a med major, so I don't know. Chris G said, fact, Sean. John Canelo never said he was gonna clean out 168. He just did it.
I mean, he didn't, but respect.
Mini Mill, what's going on? What you said, we finna get Charlo, Munguia, or Cap. From what they talking about, an offer was put out on the table. We're gonna see what happens, bro. Chris G, Bivol not better than Benavidez, and I'll fight everyone here to prove my point. Chris G, I don't want to fight you, bro.
I mean, I just keep it real. It's a much harder fight, in my opinion.
Those are the two. Stylistically, those are the two hardest fights for Canelo to take: Benavidez and Bivol. Those are the two hardest fights for him to take. Boxing with Sean, going into that fight, Triple G will be unified champion, something Benavidez, Charlo, and Andre have never done.
Yep. He won't be unified champion because he's gonna lose, but and he wouldn't be. The fight's not at 160, it's at 168, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Boxing with Sean, I get that, Jeff. Just going for undisputed is what everyone should aspire to. Trust me, I hear that from Shane every day of the week, bro. So I'm you preaching to the choir. John, Shane cracked me up. Michael Johnson, yep, Taylor got dropped the number 2 spot at 140 on ESPN. Michael Johnson, thank you for confirming that.
Makes no sense.
Catterall is number 1 at 140. How
can someone's claim to fame be a loss? I mean,
Catterall is ranked. Catterall is ranked number 1 at 140. I may not pick Catterall against maybe anybody in the top 10. he had a career.
He's in my top 10. I don't even think he's in my top 10.
Catterall had a life-changing night, but he needed help because it took for Josh Taylor to look his absolute worst. I need for people to understand that. For guys like Jake Catterall to actually win against a guy like Josh Taylor, he needs help from Josh Taylor by looking bad. Bro, there's no way Josh Taylor's on his B game. Catterall beats him.
You got Taylor, you got Progre, you got Zapata, you got
I don't take Catterall against any of those.
Gary
Antoine Russell.
You got Barbosa. You got Brandon Lee. You got Matisse. You got what's my dude's name out of the zone? Montana Love. Robert Easter Jr. Teofimo Lopez moved up there. Bro, there's so many dudes at 140 that you got Sandor Martin at 140. Bro, there's so many dudes at 140. That dude is not even... bro.
Yo, hey, Michael Johnson, I was like, I seen that, bro. If I had your line, I probably would have hit you up, bro. I was just like, yo, you see this, yo? I said Catterall. Because it flashed across my phone, and it was like Catterall... leapfrogs Josh Taylor is number 1 in the 140 rankings on ESPN, and I'm like, all right, man, like, come on now, like, come on now, like, I'm like, as far as I'm concerned, I'm like, I don't even think he's top 10 as far as 140. I don't have him in my top 10, even with what he did against Josh Taylor. I look at it more so Josh Taylor bad night at the office.
Literally.
Bad night at the office, you know what I'm saying? But you got anything else you need to rap about, Shane?
Is that the last comment?
Yeah, that's the last comment. I ran through 'em.
What else is there? What else did I hear? I didn't. Do you see the picture that I sent you of Billy Joe Saunders, bro?
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. So to answer your
Oh my
question,
god!
and I seen everything today, Shane. I just really couldn't respond to nothing today because I was at work. But he looks every bit of 220.
Bro, that dude
He
was looking fat.
he looks fatter than me, and I'm 240 right now. He looks
I
heavier than me,
mean,
and I'm 240 right now.
he looked
So
heavy.
So I'm literally 25 pounds overweight in terms of like my regular walk around weight. Like I should be around like the 215 range. You know what I'm saying? Like, but he looked fatter than me. Like in them pictures, I was just, you know the difference. You know how I look. You ever see a picture of Prince Nassim when he was fighting, and a picture of Prince Nassim now?
Yeah,
That's exactly how they could do a side by side with Billy Joe
but
like that.
it happened to a lot of British fighters. You know, look at
Yeah,
George
yeah.
Groves, look at
Groves,
Ricky
yeah,
Hatton.
yeah,
I mean, a
yeah.
lot of these dudes when they turned pro, you know, they lived that high life
They live
outside of
the
the
high
ring.
life. They like, yo, man, they go in a fat camp for real, but it just be at
Literally,
restaurants and shit. Michael Johnson, his claim to fame ain't a loss. They don't respect the win.
his claim to fame is a loss because on his record it says loss.
Well, the thing is, Michael, as far as the Catterall situation, I felt like he won the fight. Period. I
He is
felt like
a
he won the
bro.
fight. Do I feel like he had a magical night would help? That's just how I look at it. He had a magical night would help, but I'm like, you stack him up against anybody in that top 10, I think he's the underdog in every single fight. And that doesn't take away from what he did against Josh Taylor. I'm not trying to take away
I'm not
from
even
that.
gonna lie. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm including that performance. Looking at that performance don't beat any of the dudes that I just mentioned.
Yeah,
I
that's what I'm
can't
saying.
see.
Like I watched that fight, Michael, and I was just like, yo, like now it takes a certain level of skill to complete the process. Let's get it wrong. There's a lot of guys that have off nights and they still end up winning 8-9 rounds.
Wait, did you see that they sent a letter to the police?
Yeah, they getting
What
drastic with it, bro. They getting
what
drastic with
is
it.
the police gonna do?
No, they had not only the police, it was somebody in Congress too that mentioned it. So
Yeah,
they getting real serious with it, man. Like it's
this is
just,
desperate, bro. This is
and I said
desperate.
that wasn't even the biggest. I said that wasn't even the biggest. That wasn't even the biggest robbery of the month.
Literally.
Like in the last 4 weeks, that wasn't even the cash fight was the biggest robbery of the month. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just, it is what it is, man. But
yeah, Billy Joe Saunders ain't coming back to boxing, bro. He
one
must
of
be
the
coming back to
pictures,
fight Fury, bro.
yeah,
Never.
possibly. I listen, Billy Joe versus one of them Bridgerweight dudes. I can see it.
Babbage.
Definitely see it.
Billy Joe versus
Billy
Babbage.
Joe and Babbage. Yeah, man, give it to us. Billy Joe whelp the juice. Yeah, he definitely let himself go, man. Like he definitely let himself go. Like I don't see him.
I mean, nobody on earth can tell me this dude wasn't on that nasal spray, and that nasal spray didn't help him because I've never seen such a drastic decline in a fighter.
Billy Joe. Quick. Yeah, Billy Joe. Man, he looked real. Just I don't know. I don't even know what to call it. Like I don't even know what to call it, man. He just look crazy. He look crazy right now. You know what I'm saying? But bro, you know the thing that's crazy, like before we get up off here, man, and I feel bad we can get up off here and we 15 deep right now. The thing that's crazy, I'm like, no matter what the topic is, it circles back to Canelo. And that's what and that's what I think that's what T Street controversy was talking about. And I'm like, the thing that everybody has to realize is that when you're interactive with the people that's on the show with you, if that's what we're bringing up, if that's what they're bringing up, then we navigate towards it because a lot of times we're just we're addressing every single question. We're not the
Yeah.
ones that's like we only
Like,
address the ones
I
with a
don't.
super
It
chat.
definitely doesn't apply to us because you gotta look at it like every single day. We talk about. I think we speak about heavyweight all the time. We don't really speak about cruiserweight that much, but every time someone tries to test me on my cruiserweight knowledge, so
Yeah, we dropped that
we
bomb on them. We dropped that bomb
talk
on them.
about light heavyweight all the time. Super middleweight,
Yo,
obviously the Canelo middleweight, 154, We talk about every weight class, so
bro,
that doesn't really
you know the
apply
thing
to
that's
us.
crazy. It don't define us, or it don't define us as a channel. I said I've been meaning to do this for a long time, and I just don't be thinking about it when it happens. I'll be like, probably the biggest, probably the most exciting conversations you probably gonna hear are the ones Shane and I have off camera. They probably be the hottest. They be the hottest joints. Like they be the hottest joints.
I mean, yesterday we were talking about Chocolatito's career moving forward, and
yeah. So it's just all the stuff, all the hardcore stuff we be talking about off camera, and then it just.
I mean, it depends. It all depends. Like, we can't talk about stuff. Like, I guarantee, if we made a thumbnail with, let's say, Ahmed Alive and Stephen Fulton in it, I guarantee you guys
y'all not clicking. Yeah, y'all not clicking. And that's the battle that we have. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna lie, if I'm scrolling across YouTube and I see Stephen Fulton and Ahmed Alive, I'm like, I'm probably not clicking either. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I get it. You know what I mean? He said, y'all right. He ain't number one, though. Yeah, they tripping for that, Mike. He said the police can try to do a criminal investigation, read between the lines, but nothing coming from it. Yeah, they bugging.
I mean,
y'all seen Yard? That's the big boy. Actually, Shane
I've
needs to
seen
speak on that. Yeah, like
your numerous times. He's massive. He's humongous, but he's not that tall though. He's not that tall. Like, he's not like if you guys go look at someone called Craig Richards. Craig Richards is I don't even know how Craig Richards makes one. There's another dude in the UK called Shakan Pitters. That dude is 6'6". Fighting that light heavy, bro. That dude is humongous. Go look at that dude, bro. I don't know. There's some dudes out here in the UK. I don't know how they make weight. Like Lawrence Okoli. I don't know how he makes cruiserweight. On God's green, that dude's a walking wilder.
Bro. And you know the thing with Anthony Yard, I'm surprised Roy Jones ain't take a stab at him, trying to get in the work with him.
You're forgetting, bro. Tunde, that's a dictatorship.
I know Tunde is a dictatorship. I know that, but I'm just saying, like, Anthony Yard fits that mold of the athletic guy, the physical freak. You know what I'm saying? Like, it falls right along with the Eubank thing, and I actually went back and watched the Eubank Liam Williams fight just because I'm a nerd like that, bro. I understand why you said that was the worst, like, Roy impersonation, like during the live.
Bro, it was terrible.
During the live. I watched it, and for some reason, like, your voice is in the side of my head, like, yo.
He's got no. Like, I like Eubank, I really do, and I know a lot of people like bad mouthing Eubank, saying that he will lose to Kell Brook and lose to Conor Benn, that stuff. He beats both of those dudes, but Eubank, he just doesn't. He never seems fluid to me. He's fast. Like, it doesn't make sense. He's very fast, but he's not fluid. Does that make sense, Jeff?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have that fluidness to it. Like, you don't have that. I don't know.
It's not natural. Like, it's not natural. Yeah. Like, it's not robotic, but it's not natural. It's kind of weird. Like,
it's like a rocket. Rockets are fast, but they got no agility.
Yeah, like if you drive a car, they'll say the car is powerful or fast, but it don't have good handle. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of something like that. Boxing with Sean Benavidez has slow feet. That will be his problem. You know what?
Can I talk on this?
Go
ahead.
A
lot of people bring up this thing about slow feet. There's only one way to negate having slow feet. One way to negate having slow feet. And that's if you're someone who jabs on their way in. Errol Spence has slow feet, especially transitional feet. When he's transitioning from defense to offense and offense to defense, very slow. But he jabs on his way in, so it don't matter. When you're jabbing on the way in, you don't have to have fast feet. Golovkin has slow feet. But when you're jabbing on the way in, it don't matter. Because that jab on the way in, especially if you got a good jab on the way in, it automatically puts you in range to land shots off it. Because if you're throwing a jab, either the dude's gonna get their head off the line, which means they can't transition backwards, or the dude's gonna step back in a straight line. If they step back in a straight line, you don't have to be quick because you're already on that line, which means you could just step forward. The only way quick feet comes in is when you're trying to cut off the distance angle wise. Like if someone's backing up and they're circling around the ring. If someone's going back in a straight line, you don't have to have quick feet. That's just a fact. If someone is going back in a straight line, you don't have to have quick feet.
And Sean, let me add on to this because I'm glad you made that comment. Does Benavidez have quick feet? No, he doesn't. There's a couple things Benavidez does to negate that, though. Number one, he's one of the best at closing distance with the jab.
That's what I just said.
I don't know. I don't think you mentioned the jab though.
Bro, I said that. That's what I literally just said. He jabs on the way in.
So let me add to that. So he jabs on the way in, but here's the thing, Sean. A lot of times he'll switch up the type of jab that he's throwing depending on the amount of distance he's trying to close. You know what I'm saying?
This nigga said I didn't say jab. I said jab like 5 times, but go on.
Bro, I'm sleepy, bro. Leave me the hell alone, bro. And the thing is, the Durrell fight is a classic example of that. Classic example of that. For somebody that tall, like that rangy, for him to be able to give you the short jab, give you the medium jab, give you the long jab, even though his feet is not necessarily fast, he knows how to throw that jab and move his feet along with it and close the distance.
I'll give you the example. I'll give you a good example. Sorry to cut you off, Jeff.
Yeah.
When Andrew in fact, forget that example. When Jesse Hart fought Zurdo Ramirez has very slow feet as well. Very slow feet. Jesse Hart's probably the most athletic dude at 175. Just raw speed. He's ridiculously quick across the ground. Zurdo wasn't fast. He could not keep up with Jesse Hart. But you get a dude going back in a straight line by throwing that jab. Joe Smith done the same thing. You throw the jab, you work off the jab. If you can work off the jab, the dude's gonna go back in a straight line because he can't use the angles because the jab's thumping. Unless you got the ability to pivot like a Loma or Usyk, and if you're stepping in with your jab, this is the problem that AJ done. AJ was reaching with a jab, but he wasn't stepping. He wasn't literally trying to back up a dude to get his work off with the jab. You need to do that. If you're able to do that, it doesn't matter if the dude's got speed like Speedy Gonzalez. He's gonna walk into those ropes, and when he's at the ropes, that's when the work's gonna come.
Yeah. So it's So Benavidez does have slow feet. Yeah, that is gonna be a problem. But Canelo don't have fast feet neither. So I hear what you're saying, but his physical dimensions gets him out of the way.
And Benavidez ain't fighting off the back foot in that fight. You must be crazy. He's going in the kitchen.
Yeah, he's coming straight to the living room with that, like for sure. Say every fighter has a flaw. Yeah, every fighter has a flaw. Every fighter has a flaw. I mean, shit. Even
I try to tell YSM that, but sometimes you don't believe me.
Every fighter has.
That's a joke. Don't take it
serious. Every fighter has at least one flaw. I mean, shoot. I mean, Floyd went 50-0, but you ask me, he ain't used his jab enough. Like, you understand that?
I can name several flaws with Floyd because I watched Floyd for all my life, so I can name several flaws with Floyd.
You know what I'm saying, but he has a couple things just like impeccable. You know what I'm saying? Michael John saying, how come nobody beat Earl when it comes to jabs? He has one of the best jabs in the sport. Top five jab in the sport, man. Like that's his bread and butter.
Easy.
Bread and butter, bro.
Easy.
Yeah, bread and butter. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he's gonna that puts him.
Amazing job.
Yeah. So when he fights Bud, that's what's gonna give him a legit chance to win that fight. If he fights Boots, that's what's gonna give him a legit chance.
The problem is when he fights a southpaw, he's gonna have to make sure his right foot's on the outside. Because if your right foot's not on the outside, Jeff will tell you if your right foot's on the inside, your leading hand, which is your right hand, tends to stray off the line. Especially someone who doesn't stand square. If you stand square, it's going to go down the middle. But if you stand side on, you can easily pivot to your right, because sometimes Boots is southpaw and sometimes Crawford southpaw as well. So you throw that leading right hand. If I'm leading with my right as well, but my right foot is on the outside of yours, you're gonna have to either overreach, which means you can walk into a backhand, or I can sidestep you over across and then land my counter left hand over the top as well. So
even in that situation, a little sweeping that sweeping like that lead right hook. If he's fighting the southpaw, that lead right hook is going to be
that is invaluable. That is invaluable.
The thing is, this is what makes those fights interesting. I've never seen Spence consistently throw lead right hooks.
That flapping hook.
That slapping hook. Yeah. That slap, and people don't understand the reason for that slapping right hook. Right, it centers the fighter. It centers the fighter.
Because what it does is it doesn't allow you, because the whole point of getting your right foot on the outside of the opponent's right foot is not for it to stay there, but it's an easy way to cut distance. So when I step, I'm using the space that's to my right. But if I'm slapping you in, you have to stay centered. It doesn't even matter if there's any power on it. Just slap you in. I'll give you an example. Someone who does it real well, and I'm surprised I'm even going to say it, but me and Jeff are going to think the same thing. You got one name, Jeff. Someone who does it real well.
What, the slapping right hand?
A slapping hook. Doesn't even have to be a southpaw with their lead hand. You got one name.
I'm drawing a blank, bro. You probably gonna say it. I'll be like
AB.
I was thinking AB.
AB does. That's one thing AB does. And me and my brother was talking about this yesterday, which is he throws the one punch he throws. If there's any punch, is that slapping hook to center his opponent. He just don't throw nothing on the back of it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like he uses that punch. He uses that punch very well, but it's not for the intent that we're talking about.
Yeah, he centers his. It's not supposed to be your money.
The slapping hook. He centers this guy every single time, and he just don't follow up with nothing. His guy be centered. He be dead smack in the middle, and I'm like, bro, just give me that one drink down the pipe.
Literally just right hand down the pipe.
Refuse to give it to you. Nah, but I was thinking Broner, and I'm like, maybe Shane's trying to outsmart me.
But that's why Wilder didn't get credit for that first Ortiz fight. That was the adjustment he made in that fight.
Yeah. Michael Johnson said, if you can see why nobody try.
No. This is the thing. With Errol's a bit difficult. And to be fair, everyone who's ever fought Errol. Well,
I missed the comment before that. And now it makes sense. How come nobody beat Earl when it comes to the jabs? He said, if you can see why nobody try. Go ahead.
The truth is, like, you're not going to beat Errol with a jab. You know, you really have to exploit he's got two clear weaknesses. One of them is the fact that his transitional speed isn't that good with his feet. And his other one is the fact that he doesn't always throw with you. He'll deploy the high guard, wait for you to finish your shots, and then shoot his shots. Or he will shoot his shots, but he doesn't walk dudes onto punches, which means catching them in between exchanges. He done it once with Porter and he dropped him. But he shoots straight shots, but it's not really always in between people's combinations. So
yeah, it depends on how active Spence wants to be. And the reason I say that is because there's a very thin line between letting a guy finish and then you do your offense and catching and shooting. There's a very thin line between the two. And sometimes Spence just let a guy just get a couple shots off and then he just resets and restarts his offense again. But you have a catch and shoot situation when he got the Sean Porter knockdown. That was a catch and shoot situation. Caught the shot. He caught Sean Porter. I can't even say leaving out the back door with his hands down because he was still in the pocket. He just caught him with the perfect shot.
What people also need to understand is, unlike other Derek James fighters, you rarely see Errol Spence in Bang Bang shots neither. You know where
Right.
you got the bang bang, like both dudes striking the shot at the same time, and then bang, like you rarely see that with Errol. You know, you see that with Jermall all the time. Jermall's always in
Yeah.
that situation, and Miles always in that situation for that
Bud be in that situation too.
all the time. You know,
Yeah,
it's not a negative. It's just that it's
it's
just
not.
his
Yeah, it's
style.
his styles. Yeah, and yeah, Spence. I mean, Spence does a great job in maximizing the offense and minimizing what he getting back. Like he's one of the best in the sport, man. Like he's one of the best in the
Yeah,
sport, man. Like
definitely.
hands down. John Hugh, how much do you think the car crash affected Spence? I
We
think
don't know.
we don't know, like, but I think he'll always be affected in some sense physically. Like you don't come back from that and you're better than what you was before. Like it's impossible.
Plus
He
the
said
ring rust as well. So
you're correct. Michael Johnson, that's my point. Doesn't matter if he has slow feet when he has other attributes to negate his opponent's
that's my
offensive
point.
abilities.
That
No,
was
that's
our
no
original
100%.
point.
No, 100% facts. That's exactly what we're saying. Because someone has a negative, if they got positives to overshadow it, then we're not really, we're
Like
not really
Bivol, for
talking about much.
example, like YSM will say all the time, Bivol doesn't have high punch variety. I'll tell you for free, Bivol don't have good punch variety. But this dude's more accurate than anyone. So you don't
Yeah,
have to have good punch variety because you're accurate.
yeah. Boxing with Sean, turn Benavidez, make him turn around and keep his feet moving and stop him from setting his feet. See, the thing is, that is the game plan against Benavidez, but that's not really Canelo's style
No.
because Canelo is really flat footed.
You
He
just
like to get
described
leverage on the
Andre
shots.
right there.
You
You just
describe
described
Andre,
Andre.
yeah. That's Andre's game plan against Benavidez, not Canelo. Canelo,
I
him
ain't seen
fighting
Canelo
completely
ever
different.
spin nobody. I ain't ever
Canelo,
seen Canelo do
I
that.
said Canelo give you a lot of head and upper body movement, but he's not spinning and pivoting.
He ain't Lomachenko, bro.
You described Andre on that one. That's 100. He definitely described Andre on that one. For sure, man. That's crazy. I miss Sean and YSM going at it all show. That's
Yeah.
yeah. But it's just
I mean,
bro, every show.
we haven't spoken about the what's it called, the Wood Condon fight. I'm pretty sure we can speak about it. I'm gonna do the weigh-in on Friday.
Yeah, we gonna have to talk about that. But see, those are the things, those are the battles that we have, man. Like this is the challenges of actually interacting with the people that's on with us, man. And every single comment, it ain't no Cash App and none of that other stuff. Like, can we get on here and do that? Absolutely.
Stay
But we
Ready
just
was in
choose
here as
not
well.
to. Big shout out to Stay Ready, man. That's my guy, man, for sure. But that's what I'm saying, man. I'm like, we'd rather talk about other stuff. Like that technical stuff you just got for the last 10, 15 minutes, we'd rather talk about that.
Bro, I could
You know what I'm saying? We can do that. We can do that all day long. Like we can do that all day long. Like
that's my bed and breakfast. That's
so
my
as soon as Sean, you done made a lot of comments in this podcast, man. The best one was when you were when
talking
you
about
said
technique.
Benavidez had slow feet and you start talking technical stuff. That's our lane. If you want to get us to
me and Jeff spoke for 45 minutes about Errol Spence and his foot placement. And this is the thing. A lot of people have this misconception of foot placement, foot speed, and the ability to cut off the ring. That's three different skills. That is three different skills. Your ability to cut. We had a full debate on that.
We had a full debate, and it was like, and Sean, it really came down to we're both making an argument, but we was trying to make an argument under one category when it's literally three different categories.
Three different categories. Like
it's
people
three
need
different
to understand
categories.
that. When you're talking about boxing, bro, no offense to no other channel, and I'm not making no disrespect to no other channel. I watch a lot of other channels on YouTube and respect everyone. And there's another channel I found. There's another channel I found recently. It's real good. It's a chick. She does her thing. She's doing good on her channel. But when it comes down to just the overall state of boxing, like overall, we're talking about technicals, we're talking about fight breakdowns, and we're talking about international fights. Whether it's you gotta understand, we're connected so much. When you're affiliated with someone like L Dub, and then you're affiliated with channels in different places in the world, and then us as people, we look at boxing from a different point of view. We are connected with most people are connected with fighters. We know more trainers than fighters on a personal level. You know,
Right.
that's just
Right.
the way it is. Just the way we perceive the sport.
This channel was built off of technical analysis.
But that's
Like
why I
that's where,
started watching Jeff. When
yeah,
Jeff had less than 50 subscribers,
that's where we
that's
that's
what
where
made me
we
would. There was so much channels out there, but the only reason why I continued watching Jeff was because he used to do proper, detailed fight breakdowns.
analysis. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day. And it's not a lot of people doing it, but there's people that's gonna tell you, like, when it comes down to that, the best in the business. Like, it is what it is, man. Bruce Gold, salute my brothers. Bruce Gold, big shout out to
You
you.
know, you have to do a breakdown and predict. You have to go old school with Wilder and with Fury and White, bro. Old school. I want an
I
old
have
school
actually, you know what?
breakdown and prediction
We
video.
need to do a regular breakdown and prediction video, but record it like this and drop it.
Yeah, we might as well start. We should start doing that.
We
Bro.
should just start doing that. Yeah. Michael Johnson, he said Earl has fast feet, but he don't need it with his control style. He can sit on the stool. A lot of fighters can't. So let me break that down real quick. So when you say Arrow has fast feet, I'm gonna counter you with this. Because you kind of threw a double joint at me. You said controlled style. So Errol Spence has a controlled style. And so anybody that has a controlled style, usually they don't ever show how fast their feet really is. You understand what I'm saying? So when it comes down to it with Spence is one of the best. He's one of the quickest at closing the gap. When you actually watch Spence fight, he gets from point C to point A so quick, so smooth. He go from the living room to the kitchen that.
But if you look at it, and this is how I know Errol Spence's jab is so good. He goes from point A to point C only at one time, and that's after he's backed you up onto the ropes. You rarely see him go from point A to point C in the middle of the ring. The reason why is because he's working behind that long stick, and he's so good at making dudes go back in straight lines.
And Michael, let me throw this at you too. If you notice, even when Spence is in the gym, and people don't realize this, when he throws his jab, he throws it up. He throws his jab up. He throws it up, and he's trying to punch through the target. When he's throwing that jab up like that, it's only to bring their eyes up. It's only to get their eyes up high so he can actually he finishes. If he's not on the outside, he's finishing everything with body work. Like, he's finishing combinations with body work.
I don't.
Spence next level.
It's very difficult for me to say this dude's feet's fast. Cause I see this dude in transition a lot. See him in transition a lot, and to me, I don't see fast feet. I see a very technically sound, very, very good fighter, but I don't see fast feet.
Yeah, it's kind of like because I don't think Bivol has fast feet, but he closed the distance so smooth. It's like this. It's like in a blink of an eye.
I'll give you an example. Fast feet's Porter. That's fast feet.
Porter feet is so quick. Like, they're too quick.
Yeah.
There's nothing controlled about his feet. And I'm glad you said that, Shane. Like, there's nothing controlled about his feet. It's fast. So when you see Sean Porter, his feet is doing this. When you see Spence, it's like this. And then as time it's structured, but the more he does it, it's gonna go like this, and then before you know it, it's flowing like that. And he's getting to the target. Like, and then he's real economical with the shots, and he don't waste shots neither.
I definitely don't waste shots. I don't like. I'll give you an example. Like, even Boots to me, like, he's an elite fighter, a top fighter. I don't see, like, he doesn't scream fast feet. I give you another example of someone who, like, screams fast feet. What's it called? Erislandy Lara when he's fighting off the back foot. Prime Erislandy Lara. When he was fighting
Prime
off the
Laura,
back foot, he was quick. He was
Prime Laura
real
had
quick.
quick feet. Like Prime Laura, quick feet. Loma, quick feet. Trying to think who else. Tevin Farmer, quick feet. Who else? That's a good question. It's not a lot of guys with really, really quick. Sean Porter, quick feet.
Pacquiao, obviously.
Pacquiao, quick feet. He has one of the quickest feet in the history. Yeah. So when we think quick feet, we're thinking that. Now, in terms of closing distance, I think I would say Spence can get to the target.
Devin Haney's got quick feet.
Devin Haney got quick feet. Devin Haney got quick feet. Boxing First Vlog, another great show. Appreciate you. Said Bruce, my main man. Bruce, I love Bruce Gold's channel, bro. Like, love his channel. I catch a lot of the replays. Said salute my brother. I said he does have fast feet. I said he does have fast feet, period, and he can show even more, but he don't need to. His style, we're saying the same thing, bro. Like he said, but you're right. His style is the reason why. Do I think his feet quicker than what he shows? Absolutely. But like, because of a controlled style, everything is methodical. Methodical and fast is
what I'm saying. I would rather have good foot placement than good foot speed.
Yeah. So
foot speed is so overrated. It is ridiculously overrated.
And the guys that have foot speed, that's their bread and butter. And those are the ones that
has foot speed, but he don't have foot placement, so it don't make a difference.
So his foot placement is horrible. His foot place. So Porter has great foot speed, but his foot placement and his judging of distance is horrible. So it negates the foot speed. So you take a guy like Spence, he's not as fast in terms of his feet, but his judgment of distance and his foot placement is so good that it actually makes his footwork better than Sean's in a sense. Like, you know what I mean?
His footwork on the whole is better than Sean Porter's. This is where me and Jeff had a debate. This is where our debate was, because I was saying I don't think Errol Spence's foot placement. I just feel like it's more down to the fact that he understands distance. But when you look at it, you know, because of this dude, like, I can arguably say I don't think anyone in the sport. I mean, the only person I can think of, I would say, Bayless and Errol Spence off the dome probably have the best understanding of distance I've seen in my life. Their understanding of distance is amazing, impeccable. The reason why I say Bayless is if anyone watch how Bayless throw his backhand, bro, he walks dudes onto a backhand so well. It doesn't matter if you're taller than him or shorter than him. Understanding the distance is amazing. Errol Spence understanding of distance is the best out of all of the small dudes. You can say he's the best in the sport, bro. His understanding of distance is amazing. How much time do you see Errol Spence fall short in punches?
Never. Never. The thing is, and Michael, and I'm so glad you made the comment. See, this is what you're getting in the last half hour. This is really what the channel is built on. You mentioned something technical to us. We're gonna take the yard. We're gonna make it a mile. You know what I'm saying? The thing with Spence, this is why I'm like, Spence will have a legit shot against Boots. He will have a legit shot against Boots, because when you're fighting a guy that dynamic, timing, distance, and a jab can beat a guy that's dynamic. And that's exactly what Spence has, man. So Spence is one of the best guys in the sport, man.
Nigga's so patient as well, bro. He's patient.
Yeah, patient.
Errol Spence is an elite fighter. He is an elite fighter.
He is ice cold, bro. Ice cold. He said, you can have fast footwork in the ring, but are you smothering your own work? Are you timing shots too wide to too short? You see, no, 100%.
Placement.
That's Sean. That's Sean Porter, all in a nutshell. And I'll give you another person, Michael. Eubank got fast feet, but he ain't got no foot placement. He don't have no understanding of what to do with his feet, but he got some of the fastest feet around. You know what I mean? Like, but no, we agree with you 100%, bro. And
What's the
Boxing
name?
First Vlog.
To me, I would say, though, if there's any fighter in the sport that has quick feet with amazing foot placement, I would say Demetrius Andrade.
Yeah, and the thing is, and there's been times he's been sloppy with the footwork. There's been times like over the past couple fights, he's been sloppy with the footwork. And I keep it a bean. Offensively, he's sloppy with the footwork.
He's not sloppy, but offensively,
he can get sloppy with the footwork.
Definitely,
but I think it's him. He's trying to look dynamic in spots.
Yeah.
And I think that's the reason for it.
But when he's on his back foot, like pivoting on the diamond,
you're not touching him. Yeah, you're not touching him.
He's quick.
You're not touching him. Like he can get to a different zip code real quick. He said Rigondeaux got fast feet. Yeah, prime Rigondeaux for sure. He said reason why I say that because Sean was too far off, just a little off. Sean, like,
that's a fact.
Huh?
That's a fact. What you just said. That's a fact.
Yeah. Eubank, LOL. Yeah, he fast like this, but there's no structure to it. You know what I
mean? Sean's got another problem as well, which Jeff always speaks about, which is head movement. Like a lot of people talk about head movement, and I'm gonna quote Jeff's famous quote, which is, "You going from one side of the street to the next, you gotta still pass through that middle." You see my point? You still gotta pass through the middle.
You still gotta cross the middle of the street to get to the other side.
You still gotta go through the middle.
You still gotta go through the middle. That's why them straight shots gonna get you every single time. You know what I'm saying? Boxing First Vlog, Spence hasn't fought anyone with the defensive boots. To be honest with you, Vlog, we haven't seen anyone with an offensive arsenal to even see how good Boots is defensively. I'm just being honest. Yeah. I think he's probably real nice defensively, but we haven't seen him in there with somebody that's really gonna let him go.
I just want someone who's willing to jab with Boots, you know, at least offensively, you know, because Boots tends to be very upright and rely a lot on his athleticism. You know, he doesn't really rely on, let's say, he doesn't have to use certain technical things which you see Errol use or Crawford use, because they're just not as athletic as Boots.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, if Boots was to fight Spence, Boots had to fight extremely disciplined, and we haven't seen him fight extremely disciplined because he hasn't had a reason to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what I'm interested in seeing.
When you got a dude that can go in and out that quick, you don't have to worry about judging distance. Cause I just get out of range and get in range so far.
Michael Johnson said, Andrew, I like that dude, but what a shame the Billy fight didn't happen. Listen, that's what I'm saying. Like, the Billy fight. There's a couple fights. There's a couple fights, man, for sure. He said, to be real, a lot of folks don't say it like y'all. That's the thing. Like we it's not even a tooting the horn thing. It's just like I said, this channel was built on technical analysis. And we kind of just leave the fluff out of it. You know, we talking fluff is because somebody mentioned it in the comment section. You'll get that technical stuff. We will talk technical stuff for 3 hours out of the day, and we can have 5 people listening, and we won't give 2 shits about that. If you talking technical shit with us, that's what we doing, man. But that's what we were built on. That's what we're going to continue to do. And this is kind of refreshing because I'm like, it's kind of a reminder, like, you know what, we got to get back to the lab coat. All of that.
I actually like the idea that Jeff said, which is doing breakdown and prediction videos pre-recorded. Like so we're gonna it's something that I want to do, and I have to push Jeff because Jeff's got so much priorities outside the life.
And I actually got, and I'm at to holler at you tomorrow about this, but I actually got good news as far as like the time off thing I was talking about.
What about the situation you was talking about before?
I signed up for one of them. I'm so tired. I don't even remember which one it was. I signed up for one of them, but I go in the night. I ain't really got to do nothing at night.
What about the 12 hours? You go with the 12 hours?
Yeah. I had to. Like, you know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
had to, dude. I ain't gonna have it no other way. He said, nah, F it. I'm doing the toot and pause. Hey, Mike, man, I appreciate you, bro. That's the thing, man. Like, we just get on here and just cook, man. We just get on here and cook, man. We just let everything else fall into place. Mini Mill, man, Jaime Munguia versus Charlo. I want to see it.
Yeah, love to
I
see
want
it,
to
man.
see it because I just want to see what Charlo's gonna do to negate all that offense. Munguia be throwing it, and then I want to see it.
Charlo's gonna beat Munguia
But
because
I think,
Charlo was
yeah, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Charlo's got the ability to adjust. You know, when that fight gets real tough, you know, Charlo's gonna put that dude behind that stick and use his athleticism. And then
Yeah,
when it gets rough, Charlo's got the chin to stand in the pocket and get his shots off as well.
And the thing is,
Munguia ain't got no defense.
Yeah, Charlo got manpower too. So I said, really, all he need to do was jab. All he need to do was jab, catch and shoot. Jab, catch and
Walk
shoot.
that dude onto punches, bro.
Yeah, walking right in the shots. Walking right in the shots, man. And the thing is, actually, to be honest with you, Gabe was actually doing that, but Gabe ain't got enough cracks on his shots.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And not just that. Gabe defensively ain't that great neither.
Yeah, so, but it was like Munguia was throwing at an all-time clip in that fight too. He was throwing like 12 punch combinations, man. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, you can throw that when a dude's standing right in front of you. But if a dude's using an angle like an Android would or a Charlo would, you can throw what you want.
Impossible. It's impossible for you to throw that many shots. You know what I'm saying?
When bro, a dude with a high output, one of the things that take away high output is angles, bro. If you are standing on an angle, you take output out with quick. Look at Lomachenko. Lomachenko thought, what's my dude's name? Linares. High output. Bro, that dude used angles all day. That dude kept his hands in his pocket like his hands were cold.
And the thing is, you make a guy keep their hands in their pocket because you making them reset. That's what angles do. You make guys reset when you have angles. A lot of guys that throw a lot of volume, what they're gonna throw is predetermined. So they're coming in thinking.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So when you change the angle, they gotta rethink.
Yeah,
so which means they gotta reset.
Little punches. But when Charlo was moving, he went. It's just when Charlo decided to hold his feet.
Yeah, I'm like, when Charlo was moving, Castano couldn't do nothing with him. He had to find him. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. He said, I think it's gonna be a rough and tough fight for both. Munguia has improved and his defense has improved too. I'm not gonna say his defense is really improved, maybe a little bit, but you don't want to go in a Charlo fight with defensive issues. I'll say that. Vlog said Jaime showed us he can box off the back foot. I ain't see that.
Was that?
I don't remember seeing him on the back foot, bro. Mini Mill Munguia is just a brave, rugged, straight up raw dog. I agree with that. Fact. That's a fact. That's 100% facts, bro. 100% facts. But listen,
I like Munguia as well.
Munguia a good fighter, man. Like, he a good fighter. It's just
that's what I want to see. Man.
Charlo got a style that can really do some numbers on Munguia. You know what I'm saying?
I was dogging Charlo and Munguia in terms of pay-per-view numbers, but I'm actually glad
that's a great fight, though.
Charlo's looking for a fight outside of Canelo, and Benavidez looking. I'm glad that the fighters are moving on. You know? Because to me, I mean, it's just a disappointment that Andrade has to move to 168 to get work. I'm just disappointed at that.
Mini Mill said, "Does Charlo lose the Canelo bag if he loses to Munguia?" Mini Mill, I'm gonna keep it a bean with you. Canelo will probably entertain Charlo after a loss versus him dominating the Munguia.
Do you know what I found so hypocritical was when Eddie Hearn was criticizing PBC for how they handled Benavidez, and I'm just like, bro, what you been doing with Andrade?
Right. Michael Johnson, he said, I would like to see Charlo show another level and not throw a bunch of heavy-handed shots and break his fighter down. The thing,
I thought he done that in the Revianchenko fight, though.
Yeah, I think he did a good job of that.
People never talk about the fight as well, the Matt Korobov fight. I thought in spells of that fight, he boxed real good. I thought it was a technical, difficult fight, but in spells he boxed real good.
Vlog said Toriano about the uppercut was off the back foot.
Yeah, but he didn't box well. And he fought off the back foot, but he didn't box well. You said he boxed. That wasn't boxing. That was brawling off the back foot. The nigga was just throwing haymakers. That wasn't boxing, bro.
I think. But the thing is, even with that being said, what he did in the Toriano fight, I don't think he would have been able to do that 2 years prior. So he has made some improvements. It's just that's a fascinating fight, Munguia and Charlo. That's a fascinating style fight. But we'll get this last one out the way and we're gonna get up out of here. Say, will Munguia get the Canelo bag before Charlo and Benavidez?
No.
I think shit, all of them got low chances, to be honest with you. Munguia finna duck Charlo. I depend on what the offer is, man. Like there's a lot of red tape with that too, Mini Mill. Like we got to see what the numbers is, what the details are, things like that. So if the fight don't happen, I'm not gonna sit up here and say Munguia ducked or Charlo ducked or whatever. I had to get more information before I could say that. But we're gonna get up out this joint, man. 2 hours, 20 minutes strong, man. Big shout out to Boxing First Vlog. Follow his social media. Go follow his channel, man. Definitely look out for my big bro. Shane, give me your social media so we can get up out of here, bro.
I_I'm Shane the #1.
Exclusively on Instagram. Find me all over the place, man. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, G5FTV, website, G5FTV.com. Boxing First Vlog said for his style is boxing off the back foot. Munguia, I could count on one hand how many times I've seen Munguia off the back foot in his career. Like the Toriano fight probably was the only fight I've ever seen him on the back foot that much.
And I wouldn't even say he was boxing. I could just say he was fighting off the back foot.
He was brawling off the back foot. But man, this was episode 70 of the Goodfellas podcast. I really enjoyed this one because we was able to talk some technical stuff. I was able to listen to Sean and YSM argue. That's always good to see a nice little cat fight in the comment section. You know what I'm saying? But listen, man, on behalf of Boxing First Vlog, aka the General, aka Blunt, aka Blunt Bayless, aka Mr. 1K, my man VP Shane, aka Ice Cold Shane, and your boy G5 Jeff TV, aka G5, aka 5, aka the Guru. On behalf of the staff, we will be with y'all tomorrow with episode 71. See y'all tomorrow.